Warning: Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
In this crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal, and white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives.
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations, as well as clicking the link, joining the Telegram group so that we can help circumvent some of the shadow banning that PukeTube has been doing within the new black media as of late. With that being said, family and friends, today we got to talk about, is Democrats getting the message at all? Or they just want to make a hard head make for a soft ass? Because with all the stuff from 2024 that we've been showing, right? With all the power that we've been wielding and making sure that people know, yeah, this is us. This is all us. This is what we are deciding to do. This is what we have done to the Democratic Party by sitting it out. This is what we have done basically to everybody who's losing their damn minds with the deportation and all this other stuff because we decided not to get involved. With all that going on, with all the power that we're wielding and exhibiting, the messaging of the Democratic Party is kind of remaining the same. Ain't nothing really changed. So do they ever want to win again is the question. I don't think that they do. Because not only are they not saying, okay, well, you know, foundational Black Americans, they have been our constituents group for over 60 years. And they did make sure we lost this last election. If we want to even gain a piece of power, maybe we should put something together and bring it to them. Maybe we should put something together and bring it to the table for them, specifically for them. Instead of doing the logical thing, because that would be too right, that would be too, sane. They're choosing to double down on their anti-Black rhetoric. They're choosing to double down on the policies that they're putting into place. And they're choosing to double down, trying to protect the new class that they're trying to bring in as their voter bloc. aka namely the illegals. So I want to go over a few things that's going on. And by the end of this, we can answer that question. Do they really care about actually winning any seats? Do they really care about getting back the House or taking back the Senate or taking back the presidency? Because one can suggest and one can basically show that they don't. Because if they did, they would have been taking the hints. They would have been reading the room. But they're refusing to do so. So before we get started, let me go ahead and give my B1 salutes to the family. Let me give a B1 certified B1 salute, shalom, to our good brother, Black RU. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, as well as our good sister, Aquarius Minded. Thank you for being here, my sister Queen. Always a pleasure. Our good sister, Hurricane Nisi in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen. Thank you for being here, as always. Our sister Andrea Jones is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Our sister, Mrs. C. Philip Davis in the building. Much love to you, my sister. Thank you for being here, as well as our good brother, Reparations Nation, in the building. Much love to you. Our brother Yuda Homecoming is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Random Drop is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. I love that name. Love that name. Taste and Teas with Tony is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about Karen Bass as well. Don't worry, we're going to put the bass up in her ass. let's get into it. We definitely going to talk about her. Shout out to Ruby Runner in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, family. A peace and shalom to our good sister Priscilla Taylor in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, my sister Queen, as well as our good brother Zavon Scott is in the building. Much love to you, my good brother, and thank you for being here. Our sister Key Prince is in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen, and thank you for being here, as well as our sister Sybil is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, my sister Queen. Shout out to our sister Hurricane Nisi in the building for being a member for 11 months strong. Much love to you, my sister. Thank you very much for all your contributions, and your donations is always blessed tenfold, my queen sister. Thank you. Our sister Honey Brown Sugar is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well. Photo 187 is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, family. All day, all day. Our brother Wild Williams is in the building. Much love to you, my good brother. Thank you for being here, as well as our good brother Crew Reality in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as Black Rose is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as our good brother Burners Brass in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. And our brother John Son is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. And for all those who are not in the chat, much love to you, and thank you for being here. And for all those who's going to catch this on the replay, gang, much love to you, and thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and start out in California, since Karen Bass was already brought up. Let's go ahead and start off here in Cali real quick. Let me do this real quick. 1 second. So what is going on there? Oh, wow. No, they didn't. They didn't even wait until I got started. All right. Give me 1 second, family. StreamYard started out early. Might as well get the kinks out right now. Might as well get them out. Give me 1 second, 1 second. Bear with me, family. Bear with me. God dang. StreamYard, get it together. Get it together, StreamYard. All righty. All right. 1 more second, family, and we'll be ready to go. All right. Let's start out in California because California has decided once again to do more nonsensical bull stuff. They're looking to expand the already in place Medicare or medical funding for more illegals. Let's go here.
But the thing is, for sanctuary cities and states, they complain about the cost, but they continue to add services. I want to show you California. As of yesterday, California has added a healthcare benefit for migrants. They are now going to extend free healthcare to migrants between the ages of 26 and 49. That's going to cover 700,000 additional people and cost the state $2.6 billion each year. Now, that's added onto that's added onto California's deficit, which is already $68 billion. But the thing is, for sanctuary cities,
yeah, family, I'm going to be real honest with you. I love California because that's my home state, and I want to see California do well. But speaking objectively, California's cooked. California is cooked. The people that's in power don't want to see California thrive as a state at all. I'm going to be honest with you. Californians are cooked in California due to the people that they elect in California. Only people that aren't cooked in California, to be honest with you, if I'm going to speak 100% honest, is the illegals. It's the Latinos. Is the Asians and the Indians. Well, the Indians are Asians, but these are the folks that are going to be able to stay in California because these are the folks that are behind the scenes actually running California. And unfortunately, our family are compiled in like one area in order to take hold back from any of these people in those governments. Black folks throughout California has been basically spread the hell out. Pieces here, pieces in San Bernardino, pieces in Riverside County, pieces out in Blythe. So you're not really getting a full block in California like we should be. And that's why we're not seeing a lot of our folk out there in California in places of office. This is why you have, whole goddamn Hispanic city councils for no damn reason. California is gone, unfortunately. I just hope that it doesn't burn and go to hell with it. But I digress. They're getting into another. Well, let's talk about the gubernatorial race first. So there is somebody running for Gavin's seat. His name is Paul. I might butcher this man's last name. Zupula. It's Szypula. Let's go here. Let's listen to his platform and what he's talking about doing for Californians. Shout out to Rael in the building, as well as Goddess Yamaya in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, to both of you, as well as Lydian Madison in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Let's get into it. Yeah, I used to live in California as well. I love California, but god dang it, I don't see myself ever returning due to the mess that California has become. But let's go here, family.
And when I am governor, I will restore universal health care for all, including undocumented immigrants in the state.
Family, they're already trying to put, this woman already did announce that they're expanding their Medicare program for illegals. And this man his platform stands on putting more Medicare for all out there for more illegals. Make it make sense. Does this show that you're going to actually go in there and start working for Californians, or are you just working for illegals like, Karen Bass is, like Gavin Newsom was already doing? And to my people in California who's against this, you guys got to make sure that you don't get another Gavin Newsom in that office. Whether they're Republican or whether they're Democrat, that doesn't really matter. Well, really, it kind of does. But for the most part, if their policy is more geared towards illegals and immigrants, then yeah, you should make sure that you're voting against them 100-fold. Or sit it out. If they're not offering nothing to you, don't rush out to the polls to offer them your vote, because all you're doing is giving them more power to continue the nonsense that they're continuing in California already. Let's let them get back to the nonsense in which he speak. So this man is going to put a tax on anybody in the state that is going to work with ICE or who is willing to work with ICE. Do these people not understand that everything that they're doing is quite literally against the Constitution? Equal protection under the law. And this is how a lot of these folks get away with evading equal protection under the law, right? As a constitutional situation. What they'll do is they will say that they don't have to work constitutionally. They don't have to work with the federal government, which is true. They're absolutely correct there. Constitutionally, they don't have to work with the federal government. They don't have to enforce anything with the federal government. But the problem comes when you don't do equal enforcement across the board. So that's how they've been kind of getting away with evading a lawsuit on the equal protection under the law situation. But when you go into office, family, did I not click back over? You guys must not have heard it, but I'm going to finish what I have to say and I'm going to replay it. When you go on to say, hey, I'm going to tax anybody who's going to work with ICE, and you're not taxing anybody who works with the police, that's a clear-cut distinction in the equal protection. That's a clear-cut distinction. If you're going to tax people who's working with federal law enforcement, rather than taxing everybody who works with federal law enforcement, right, and police enforcement, then there's a problem there. In California also, they actually went to the courts because they wanted to put a stop to ICE agents wearing masks in California. Well, the judge delivered them basically a win, but also delivered them a caveat to that win, right? Because Gavin Newsom didn't have a problem with them wanting to demask federal agents like ICE. He also didn't have a problem with local police officers being added to the the lawsuit as well. The problem that Gavin Newsom had was the fact that he didn't want state police, state troopers included in that bill or in that lawsuit. So when they got it to the judge said, "Yeah, I'll rock with you guys. Yeah, no worries. They can't wear a mask anymore. However, I'm going to put a pause to this." And why did he put a pause to it? Because it wasn't constitutionally sound. Because it was not applied equally across the board. It was only going to be applied to the local, and it was going to be applied to the Fed or ICE agents. And the judge said, you cannot do that. It needs to be applied all across the board with all law enforcement in order for it to be constitutionally sound. So now California is going back, and they're going to be adding state troopers to the lawsuit in order for the judge to sign off on it and say, okay, it's constitutionally sound. Right? So with that, I say that to say this. What this man is about to say and what I'm about to play for you is not constitutionally sound, because he only wants to tax people who's going to or decide to work with ICE, not with police, not with law enforcement across the board, just with ICE. And that's how you know that is unconstitutional. Let's go here.
Universal health care for all. And when I am governor, I will restore universal health care for all, including undocumented immigrants in the state of California, because we know that healthcare is a right. We will abolish ICE. We will create a pathway to citizenship. And right now I have legislation that puts a tax on any single company in California that does business with ICE and ICE detention centers.
Now, in order for it to be constitutionally sound, he would have to make that tax available to any company that does business with law enforcement in general. In general. However, he's not. He's only trying to target companies that work with ICE. So I don't see that law being passed. I don't see that getting through at all, to be honest with you. I feel like the corporations are actually going to use some of that Citizens United clout and go after this dude's throat for that law. Shout out to Sweet Butters in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as LT the Mighty in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as Ty and Graham in the building. Much love to you. And our sister Shelly is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well. I think I'm missing somebody. Let me see. Our brother Trey Messiah in the building. Much love to you. And let me give a happy birthday to our sister Queen Aquarius Minded in the building. You already know. And many more. I hope you're having a fantastic one. And shout out to Fat Cats as well in the building. Much love to you. What's his name? This guy's name is Paul. And like I said, I'm probably going to slaughter this last name. It is Szupula. Sapola. I'm hoping. I don't know. It's just crazy. But let's go here, family, because there's another person running for governor by the name of Eric Swalwell. Let's go here, because he was being questioned, and this is what he had to say. This is his platform.
I want to know what you're going to do, what you can do to help.
Yeah, Keith Prince, I think that he's an immigrant as well, because I don't know no black person with that kind of last name. I'm going to be 100-fold with you. Most black folks' last names you can say easily. Like that right there. I don't know what kind of last name that is. French something. Let's continue.
I want to know what you're going to do, what you can do to help ease the cost of electricity, water.
I grew up with the same anxiety and struggle that you have, that I would dread when the mailman would come to the house, because I knew eventually he was putting the utility bill in the mailbox, and then my mom would open it, and I would try and read her face to see if it was something we could afford. Or
I'm gonna be honest with you, family, and this is just me personally. Whenever apologetics start telling the story about their childhood, I automatically assume they're lying. Because every single time, it is this long diatribe of a story, right? Every single time. Joe Biden, he's famous for this, bringing up stories, creating black people that never existed. You dig what I'm saying? Like, so every time I hear a politician go straight to their childhood when I was little, I automatically assume that they're lying. Automatically. Shout out to our sister Starte Jones in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Yeah, exactly. Everybody was poor all of a sudden. Everybody struggled when they were young all of a sudden. Like this, it never amazes me that that's the first place that they go whenever someone asks about affordability.
if the power was going to ultimately be turned off, because that had happened. And for too many Californians, that's the reality. For me, with utilities across the state, the appointments that I make to the boards and commissions really matter. And making sure that you have people who are accountable to me and they understand that their day one priority is to lower the costs and hold the utilities accountable. Second, to be a governor that onboards as quickly as possible as much renewable energy in our state, because the president has taken a whack at the Inflation Reduction Act and the Infrastructure and Jobs Act, which was bringing solar and hydrogen and EV chargers to our state. So here's what I'm going to do in that regard. I'm going to stand up a California fund, California Research Fund. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask and seek the best of California to be global ambassadors and send them to capital markets across the world and seek investments in the fourth largest economy, best educated state in the world. And what I'm going to do with those investments is deploy the capital into green tech, clean tech, biotech, the best that we have in California, and then use that revenue and help it to pay down our energy costs, pay down our healthcare costs, invest in teachers and classrooms.
He sounded just like Gavin Newsom, didn't he? And whatever happened to that $20 billion for the homeless? Oh, let's not mention the $9 million home he just bought. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he sounds like Gavin Newsom to me. Just to be, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, family. Let's go here, because he was caught once again. Here's another interview that he just did.
I want us to be able to vote by phone. I think every Californian vote by phone.
He wants you to be able, he wants Californians to be able to vote by phone. Shout out to Sweet Jean in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. As well as our good brother Snatch Adams in the building. Thank you for being a member for 5 months strong. Much love to you, and your contributions are blessed tenfold, and I appreciate them as always. He's telling criminals where they can clean their money at. Exactly. Sound like a bunch of money laundering if I ain't never heard nothing. Shout out to little Big Mama Jones. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Family, he's talking about making it possible for people to vote over the phone. Now tell me, does that sound like some voter fraud in the making? If you ain't never heard it. Because that to me sound like you're trying to make sure not only can illegals vote, but people not even in the state All you got to do is have a California area code. Shoot, you can get a goddamn, what are those dang things called? A Google phone, a goddamn a text now number, and make it a freaking California area code and be able to vote. And you ain't even in California. This is how stupid this man is. This is how stupid this man's policy is. You didn't think about that, Skip? Hey, Eric, you want to make it possible for everybody to vote over the phone, huh? Let's let him continue.
I want us to be able to vote by phone. I think every Californian vote by phone. Yeah, if we can do our taxes, do our, make our healthcare appointments, make essentially do your banking online, you should be able to vote by phone. Make it safe, make it secure, but it's actually already happening all over the United States.
It's happening all over the United States. Family, please let me know. Shout out to our sister Patricia A. Jones in the building. Y'all let me know. Are you guys able to call in, vote wherever you are? We got folks from all over these United States and people who have lived all over these United States. Have any of you ever seen anywhere you've been or anywhere you've ever lived that you can vote by phone? I've never seen it. I have never heard of such a thing. That right there is ludicrous to me. That you would even suggest such a thing. How the hell do you even quantify whether or not these people are citizens? How do you even know if they are who they say they are on the other line and they're just not some scammer on the other line that got a list full of names that's just calling in saying, hey, my name is Larry D. Shout out to Larry D in the building. Much love to you. Hey, my name is Sweet Jean. Hey, my name is Patricia. Hey, my name is Miss Niecy. How do you even tell whether or not you're speaking to the person that they're claiming to be? There's no way to do that. So for this man to even bring that up, that just shows how far the Democratic Party is willing to go in order to open the door for a bunch of people that should never be voting in our elections to vote in our elections.
I want us to be a blue state that doesn't do just a little bit better than like Georgia or Alabama when it comes to like voting access. I want us to max out democracy. Also, as it relates to democracy, if you wait in line for 30 minutes or more, if you do want to vote in person, I think you should fine every county for every minute that a person has to wait longer. We have to be better, not just a little bit better than the other states. The DMV. I don't think Californians should have to go in person to the DMV anymore. I think we can do that virtually. I think you can have the DMV employees do it virtually, but that's a lot of real estate.
Is that the most popular position?
Digitize the DMV.
By digitizing the DMV, there is no way to prove your citizenship to get an identification card. As we speak, in order to get an ID from the DMV, you need to, or the way it's supposed to be, you're supposed to bring in your birth certificate along with your social security card. If you digitize the DMV, that goes away. How do you certify that these people are citizens? And if you say, well, you can fax in your copies, this, that, and the third, how do you know that you're not faxing in fake documents? How do you know these people aren't faxing in fake documents that they receive? If people can get fake goddamn passports, what makes you think they can't get fake birth certificates? The only way to really certify these things is to keep people going to the DMV in public. That is so simple. You ever heard that term, keep it simple, stupid? That is so simple that the stupidest person can understand that. Let's be very clear, or should be able to understand that. Shout out to Rosemary in the building. Much love to our sister Queen. Thank you for being here, as well as our good brother AO in the building. And Sharice in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, family. Let me see. And JMVE. Oh, okay. JMV Entertainment. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well. And shout out to Snatch Adams once again for your super chat donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. They were scamming in person at the DMV. Digitalizing it will really open it up. You're absolutely right. There was just, in case you guys haven't heard, there was just an article put out about how a lot of these Democratic states they were basically had these driver's license scams going on, where a person would come in and pay $200 per license, and they would do that like 5 times a day. They would just pay that directly to the person working at the DMV, and the person would basically just give them an ID card, give them the driver's license. So this is happening. And like our brother said, by digitizing the DMV, that's just going to open up the floodgates to fraud. But of course, the Democrats don't care nothing about that. They don't care nothing about that because that's their goal, to open the floodgates. Shout out to Larry D. California is working on separating from the union and elimination of the national citizenship and printing its own digital currency. We are in trouble. Yeah, I'm be honest with you. I don't see California separating from the union. You know, Texas used to talk about that all the time, but there's a lot of protocol that you got to go through in order to make that happen. So, you know, California might talk big, but I don't see it happening. And if it ever happens, it's going to take some years to get it done. But I digress. Thank you for that comment. Let's allow him to finish here.
Digitize the DMV. I think we can do that virtually. I think you can have the DMV employees do it virtually, but that's a lot of real estate.
Is that the most popular position?
Digitize the DMV. Digitize the DMV.
Today? Yeah.
We can modernize the state, and I look forward to bringing these ideas to Californians.
So, Paul, the suspected tether, got on the news after hearing a lot of the talking points of Eric Swalwell or whatever. He got on the news and he made people very clear. He made it very clear to people, hey, you know that Swalwell guy? He can't even run for governor because he's a resident of Washington, D.C. Let's go here. And I agree. He's speaking like an incredible fool. Incredibly foolish. Exactly, Beatrice. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Like Minnesota, another Somali scam. Exactly. And that's exactly where the whole that was one of the areas, that was one of the states that DMV scam was taking place. That was before Tim Walz signed that goddamn bill in the office that give driver's license for everyone. Driver's license for all. Let's go here, though, family.
California Congressman Eric Swalwell's dream of becoming governor taking a major hit as the new court filing claims he doesn't actually live in the Golden State. The court complaint filed by filmmaker Joel Gilbert argues the Democrat lawmaker lives exclusively in Washington, D.C., saying, quote, either he's guilty of mortgage fraud in Washington, D.C., or he's ineligible to run for governor of California. He can't have it both ways. California's constitution does bar non-residents from running for governor. California Congressman Eric Swalwell's dream of...
So the man don't even live in California, but yet he's running for the governor of California. Let that sink in. This is how entitled the Democratic Party has become, to be honest with you. These folks don't give a damn about rules at this point in time. They don't give a damn about the laws at this point in time. Let's go here, family, because let me see here. From people emerging who want to be governor, let's get over to Gavin Newsom, because Gavin Newsom had an interview after he left the whole economic forum that he was at, that he shouldn't have been there because he was the only person there that was a governor and not a leader of the free world. Gavin Newsom kind of went on a kind of a tirade, and it was funny, so I want to play it. Let's go here.
Damn nice if our homegrown teams start focusing on what's right. Everybody outside the state is bitching about the state.
Governor, California has the nation's highest housing costs, highest gasoline prices, and highest utilities. Wage growth has been spectacular in the Silicon Valley, but not so much for areas along the coast and in some inland areas. In a very real sense, the California dream is more like a mirage for people grinding it out day after day. How do you make the case that you, as governor, can deliver the California dream to all Californians?
Well, let's talk about what we also are number one in, Stephanie. And guys, forgive me, I know I'm a little pointed today, but I've been taking a lot from a few folks for a lot.
I'm sorry, hold on, family. You can see that Gavin Newsom is visibly angry. This man can barely keep his shit together. This man, his forehead is bright red. Bright red. This is the one thing that I love about Nabiscos. You can't hide when you're pissed off when you're a Nabisco. Because that right there will change the cracker whole color. You will go from being a goddamn a salted Nabisco to a wheat thin in a hot second when you're mad. Let's be very clear about that. So I love to see when a Nabisco is pissed the hell off. But let's let them get into it.
Months, so it's nice to be able to express myself too. But I do it with deep pride in the state. As a Californian, I'm a future ex-governor. It could happen in a few weeks, could happen in a few years. But I love this damn state. We're number one in job creation, 10th the American economy, 559,000 jobs. Eat your heart out, Texas, Florida. We're number one in the Bloomberg Index of innovation and entrepreneurialism. We dominated yet again in venture capital. And that's not just for fancy folks in Silicon Valley. That's pushing out the boundaries of discovery and opportunity, innovation that advantages each and every one of us. 53% of the nation's venture capital.
Then why are people leaving California in droves? I read an article yesterday where it was basically saying that California, New York, Pennsylvania, and I forget the other state. It was another Democratic state, but they're losing the bulk of their population. And if they keep up losing the bulk of the population, they won't have any type of chances from 2028 on out. Because when you lose your population, you lose seats. You lose your population, you lose delegates. And so if what he's saying is correct, then why are people leaving in droves? They are flocking out of California. But let's continue. Shout out to our sister, Miss Nishi. She said, church kind of reminds me of what KG says, always says. They don't want to save the country. They just want to be celebrities. And you are absolutely correct, because that's all you see. People who want to be in the spotlight. They don't want to do what's right for California or the country at all. You know what I mean? No matter where they are, they don't want to do for their constituents there. They just like being in the spotlight, and then they like being in power. But let's let them continue.
Over 100 damn IPOs year to date in this state. $80+ billion budget surplus. 80+ billion, not that 76 billion. We had another $3.9 billion in new cash.
How the hell do you have an $80 billion surplus in California when you're $60 billion in debt? How do you have an $80 billion surplus when you're $60 billion in debt? I'm confused. How does that work? That's like telling me that I'm rich, but when I go look at my bank account, I got nickels and pennies in it. Make it make sense. Exactly. The math ain't mathing. The math is not mathing. Because they print money. Then it ain't real. Congress has the right of the purse. Congress has the right to coin the dollar and regulate the value thereof according to the Constitution, not the state. So if the state is printing money, god dang it, then the state is printing counterfeits. They are counterfeiting. Sweet Butter say, yes, we did have a surplus when he offered reparations, then reneged. Yeah, but after which, didn't he implement that whole medical for illegals that ended up taking you into a large deficit? Like I said, these folks, they don't really give a damn. They lie just to lie. When a politician's mouth is moving, you can assume they're lying. Shout out to Snatch Adams once again, my good brother, for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. That's why they opened up the border in 2021 so Cali wouldn't lose any more House seats, and you're absolutely correct. And this is why, for the most part, a lot of these sanctuary cities, a lot of these Democratic states, they're fighting to keep their illegals because they know that the population is what shows, is what gains your seats and your delegates. Let's be very clear about that. So this is why they're fighting for illegals. It's not a humanitarian situation. It's all to keep the power that they have. It's all to stay in office. Let's be very clear about all of that. These folks know what they're doing. Shout out to Anita Harrell in the building, my good sister. Thank you for being here, family. Let's continue.
We had better health outcomes in Florida and Texas and better economic outcomes. Our economy contracted at a more modest rate than Florida and Texas. Do you know, Stephanie, that middle-class families in Texas pay more taxes than middle-class Californians? Look that up. That's a fact. I don't know why that doesn't get more damn attention, because I care about working folks. That's a fact. I'm also proud of the fact that this state has almost tripled its earned income tax credit to allow working families to keep more with their earnings. I'm proud of the fact that 3/4 of tax filers are getting a tax rebate, the largest in American history, $12 billion. I'm proud of the fact that small businesses are getting $4 billion in grants, not loans. I'm proud of the fact we're paying 100% of back rent, 100% going back to April last year, 100% through September 30th this year, 100% of your back utilities and back water bills, because you're right, those bills have stacked up. I'm proud of the fact, you didn't mention it, Stephanie, that most electric bills are lower in the state, even though our per unit costs are higher, which you're right to note, but you didn't mention the bills, which are lower because of our energy efficiency and our low carbon green growth plans.
Shout out to our good brother Noah Randall, the cousin of Pelosi, Gavin Newsom, the Mayo Devil. I thought that Gavin Newsom was Pelosi's nephew. Yeah, I think that Gavin Newsom is Pelosi's nephew. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess they are cousins. Gavin Newsom is not Pelosi's nephew. Their connection is distant and stems from a marriage that ended decades ago. Okay. Well, you were right. Pelosi's cousin. All right, shout out to you. Let's continue.
I'm proud of the fact we actually have a housing policy and homeless policy for the first time in decades. And we have the back of working families, and we're focused on workforce housing.
Sir, you say you got a housing and a homeless policy for the first time in decades. You got $20 billion for the homeless and did absolutely nothing with it. Absolutely nothing. The homeless is still homeless. Skid Row is still Skid Row. And you got a new $9 million house. Excuse me, a $9 million mansion that you and your wife just purchased, don't you know? Yeah, Skid Row is still Skid Row. You can walk down the street, which you did. You walked the streets of Skid Row and saw all those homeless people sitting over there, and they told you what they needed. And those very same people are still on the streets. He's smoking at Humboldt County. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if Gavin Newsom was a big contributor to the Humboldt County Smoke Fest. Exactly. No loans for FBAs, no housing for FBAs, nothing for FBA veterans, which the bulk of the homeless in California are. They're FBA veterans. Shout out to Troy. I mean, they already found cocaine in the White House. You are not lying. You are not lying. Anything is possible at this point. After that, anything is possible. Shout out to our sister Angelic in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen, and thank you for being here. Man, please, between you, Pelosi, Harris, and the rest of them damn regimes, y'all have been running black folks out in flocks of California for decades, and you are absolutely correct. You are not telling any lies. In between Pelosi, Maxine Waters, Kamala Harris, those three alone had people running out of California in flocks. But you add Gavin Newsom on top of that, yeah, you are absolutely correct, my sister.
In the middle class. I'm proud of the fact that poverty was declining consistently before the pandemic. Not a lot of headlines about that. And let me close on this, because this is important, because we don't talk enough about blue-collar jobs. You referenced it. You look at the next top 10 states. I know you're going to PolitiFact this, and I know you're going to find something and going to run with it, and I'll look forward to seeing what I screwed up. It's all the top of my damn head. So I'll stipulate that. But I think you look at the next 10 states, the next highest 10 manufacturing states, blue-collar, American, backbone, factory states. The last 5 years, our GDP growth is 13% in factory growth. No one comes close. Blue-collar, middle-class jobs, California, dominating all those other damn states.
And all those jobs are going over to illegals. You see how that works? You can sit here and talk about how your state is a factory state, a blue-collar state. 13% growth. Ain't nobody touching us on these factory growths in our state. We are the big boss, the honchos. but yet all the jobs are going to illegals. You know, you can talk real big about those type of things, but when you look at the people who benefit from everything that you're talking about, it isn't Californians. It isn't foundational Black Americans. It isn't even people who are citizens. It is a bunch of people who are in the country illegally that you are fighting tooth and nail to keep here. But continue. Shout out to a Wish of Tether Wood in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family. I mean, they are blatantly, tirelessly, working to erase us with illegals, and we're supposed to vote for this. And I agree with you 100% fold. It's a hell to the no for me. A hell to the no. This dude is just saying words at this point, and that's what I'm saying. That's what a politician does, especially when it's Gavin Newsom. When he opens his mouth, you can bet your bottom dollar that there's a lie somewhere in there, if not all the way in there. When was it declining FBA, especially FBA men, including men that have FBA children, are living in storage units? You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. That's how high the price of California has become. As a matter of fact, I remember just a few short years ago, before I moved to Texas, it was like 2018, 2019, early 2019, California passed a rent, what is it called? It passed a bill basically saying that you could not charge a certain amount of rent, right? You can only charge ×2 or whatever. Basically, it was supposed to protect people in the rent sector. I ain't heard that bill since. I ain't heard nobody talking about that bill since it passed. I ain't heard anybody say, hey, this policy has kicked in and now I can actually afford to live here. I haven't heard any of that, to be honest with you. Shout out to our sister Brooke in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen, as well as our sister Black Spider in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen. Thank you both for being here. Let's let them continue.
I care about ag like the best of them. Man, Tad Dark, I've been back. I did a $6 billion signing ceremony in Nunez's back damn district on a bill he opposed to get broadband to every one of his damn constituents. I was there in Fresno and near Bakersfield with those same Republicans that wanted to cut Medicaid for all those people, expanding it to those same constituents in their backyard. I've been in the Central Valley, not for symbolism, substance. I care deeply about the Valley. I'm there.
And they wanted to cut that Medicaid to those illegals, and that's when he stepped in. Just wanted to make sure that that was very clear, since he didn't put that out there. You know, he just wanted to make sure people knew that they were going to cut Medicare. And I said, you know what? I went in there and I gave it to them. That's because they were illegals. Since you didn't want to say it or bring it up. Shout out to our sister Black Spider. Thank you for your super sticker, my sister. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. Why he yelling and pointing his finger? Because that's what they do. They got to show conviction, right? And you can't show conviction unless you're pointing at somebody. You got to make sure somebody is getting that finger wag. Shout out to Cultural Superpower. Thank you for being here, my sister.
On a weekly basis, making announcements to address these issues. But I'm proud of the fact our ag, our fishing, and our logging industry is bigger than the next 5 states combined. That's California. It's not, Stephanie, just Silicon Valley.
And who are benefiting from all of those industries? It isn't the citizens. It isn't foundational Black American. It is a bunch of people who are in the country illegally that you guys keep on fighting tooth and nail to keep in the country illegally. Like, you can name all of these things good that California is doing, but if the citizens are being forced to relocate their homes, they have to either sell their homes and move, or they got to just find a new place to rent. Then it is not working for your citizens. It is not working for Californians. It's only working for illegals and people such as yourself, people who are benefiting from illegals being there, the NGOs and the goddamn politicians.
It's that and Silicon Valley. This is not, we're number one in all those categories. It'd be damn nice if our homegrown teams start focusing on what's right.
Oh, Zavon, he did have some passion, all the emotion that he had when that reparations bill got vetoed, but it was against us. His compassion was for the people that basically didn't bring it to the floor. The people that was bootlicking his heels. That's the people that he had compassion for. Oh yeah, but all that emotion and the conviction, that was against us. Thank you for your comment, family. Let's continue.
Everybody outside the state is bitching about the state because of our success, and I'm proud of it. I'm not naive about our competitive liabilities, and that's why we're trying to address them.
Everybody outside the state is bitching about the state because of y'all's success. If you're so successful, then people wouldn't be leaving in droves. You're not getting this. What part of this do you not understand? What part of this is not clicking? The dots are not connecting. What part? You folks are so delusional that you think that you're successful even though people are fleeing the state due to the inability to live in the state. That's not success. But go ahead.
But I also think there's a lot to be proud of in this American dream, of which there's only one state with its own, and that's the California dream. Forgive me, Stephanie, I think it's still alive and well.
This man said California got the California dream. What is the California dream? Being able to live in California without it breaking your pockets? The affordable dream is what it should be called. Damn the California dream. It should be called the affordable dream. Because Californians can't afford to live in California. And those who can are being pushed out of California. But go ahead.
I care about ag like the best of them. Man, Tadgart, I've been back. Hell, I did a $6 billion signing ceremony in Nunez's back damn district on a bill he opposed to get broadband to every one of his damn constituents.
What the hell has broadband got to do with affordable? I guess there's some people that need free internet. Or maybe you can, I don't know, lower the cost of living so that people can just pay their internet. But that would be too right? That would be too logical to do, right? All right. Now that we got these clowns out of the way and you know what we got to do for the next clown, because god dang it, this clown right here is definitely a clown.
Send in the clowns.
Now we got to talk about Karen Bass. Now, a year ago, Karen Bass was guaranteeing Donald Trump that the, houses that was burnt down, the people who lost their homes in the Palisade fires, all the red tape and everything would be gone and people would be able to start building and rebuilding their homes. And, they wouldn't have to worry about any of the red tape from the city and things like that. Well, January 24th made 1 year. In 2026, January 24th, made one complete year. And this is how it still looks.
Neighborhood rebuilt again. You mentioned a couple of things in terms of us expediting. So I signed executive directives right away so that we could cut the red tape. We could get people back building as fast as possible. And we're going to continue doing that.
Yeah, the one thing is they are saying they will not be allowed to start for 18 months.
No, that will not be the case.
Okay, I just hope
That
you're
will not,
right.
you can hold me to it.
Because 4 groups said that.
No,
That would be, they should
No,
be able
that-
to do it. They should be able to start tonight.
that will not be the case. You know, first we have to take care to make sure that there's not getting rid of the hazardous waste, cleaning things up so that people can start right away. And just like you said, if somebody had their house was destroyed and they're going to rebuild essentially the same, maybe a little bit longer, a little bit higher, they really shouldn't have to go through much of a process. So I want you to know that we are expediting that. We absolutely need your help. We need the federal help. You're a
You've got it.
builder.
I told you, you will have no permit problem. There will be 0 delay. And as far as I'm concerned, you already have the permits.
He said, as far as I'm concerned, you already have the permits. She said it wouldn't take 18 months. We're in the 12th. So you are 6 months away from telling us whether or not, or showing us whether or not you actually hold word. Your water hold any weight. I want to go here because she is now out here trying to make it seem like the fire wasn't as bad as everybody tried to make it seem to be. It's a lot of false information getting put out, don't you know? Let's go here.
Completely fabricated?
It was completely fabricated. And by the way, you know, who are the sources?
In a Los Angeles Times article, anonymous sources said LA Mayor Karen Bass received an early draft of an LAFD after-action report, and she was concerned about legal liabilities for failures in combating the Palisades fire. Sources said Bass wanted key findings about the LAFD's shortcomings removed or softened, and those changes were made.
There was absolutely no reason or desire that I would want to water down this report. What would be the purpose of covering up a report that I ordered?
The report was ordered after criticism that the fire department failed to pre-deploy engines and resources in the Palisades, despite a forecast calling for dangerous winds. According to the LA Times, the report initially said that decision, quote, did not align with policy, but was changed to say that the fire department's pre-deployment plan was, quote, above and beyond. The Times also previously reported that the author of the report, Battalion Chief Kenneth Cook, declined to endorse the final version that went public because of the changes made, saying it made the report highly unprofessional. Bass said she only asked that the LAFD make sure it was accurate on issues related to the budget.
I ordered the report because I wanted the truth to come out.
Businessman Rick Caruso, who previously ran against Bass and lost, said the LA Times report is an outrage. He posted on X saying, in part, Karen Bass actively covered up a report meant to examine the most significant disaster in LA history. This is a complete loss of public trust. Mayor Bass said state officials are doing their own independent report, and she urged the public to take a look at it when it's finalized and post it and compare the facts for themselves.
So she tried to downplay some information in the report, tried to cover some stuff up. She got caught up, and now she's out here trying to cover her ass by talking about the ice raids. Oh yeah. Yeah. And all of this during a time where she's having to run for her seat again, run for her mayoral office again. Shout out to our sister, Sexy Red in the building. Much love to you. And let's continue.
While the National Guard has since left, the brutality of the raids has not. Raids continue every day in Los Angeles, and with them have come the devastating losses of life. Here in Los Angeles, Keith Porter, a 43-year-old father of 2, was shot to death by an off-duty ICE officer. In Minneapolis, Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old poet, mother and wife, was also shot to death during federal enforcement operations. Days later, Alex Petty, a 37-year-old intensive care nurse for the Department of Veteran Affairs, was also shot to death. So staying silent or minimizing what has happened is not an option. This administration doesn't care about safety, they don't care about order, and they most certainly don't care about the law. This senseless death, lawlessness, and violence must end, and so must the presence of ICE in Los Angeles.
All right, that's that. Let's go here. She has some things to say about when the Don Lemon got locked up too. Hold on.
Watching this.
And she's going to make it a black thing. Spoiler alert.
I have a particular message to Black America that it's interesting that I believe the journalists that were arrested all look like me and you.
10 seconds.
And so this is not the first time this has happened. As a matter of fact, the journalist that is with me, Jasmine, was arrested a few years ago.
Mayor, you seem angry in court. You weren't happy with watching this.
I have.
Now, notice she said the journalist that's with her was arrested as well. But then she landed with a few years ago. Who was in office a few years ago, family? Donald Trump wasn't in office when the journalist that she just named, or that she just name dropped, was arrested. So who was in office? That means Joe Biden was in office. If Joe Biden was in office, then why are you bringing up the fact that the journalist with you was arrested a few years ago? It had nothing to do with Donald Trump. So why even bring it up? That's interesting to me that she would even do so. Shout out to Rosemary for this comment. She's acting like one of the head mistresses, as always, of the Reflection, Simone Sanders. Yeah, absolutely. The Simone Mammy Sanders. Cortez Waters, the list goes on. Absolutely, my sister. Thank you for that comment. Absolutely. That's exactly what the hell she acts like. A straight mistress. The head mistress. She's more concerned about these damn illegals than her citizens of California. You're absolutely correct. And all of them are. That's what I'm saying. None of these Democrats are acting like they understand the assignment. None of these Democrats are acting like they see what is going on in the black grassroots, the displeasure, and seeing the reactions that ends up happening, or excuse me, the actions that ends up happening from their actions, the reactions, excuse me, that are happening from their actions. They're not seeing how the universe is moving in our favor overall. Let's go here, family. Because like I said, she's back on the campaign trail. She's back on the campaign trail. And what is she talking about? More of the same.
So the events over the last 24 hours, I think, have injected a whole new burst of energy into the campaign. Just a flurry from, frankly, around the country, the surprise and the outrage. But what I am very, very excited about is that every time I've done a campaign, even when I haven't had a lot of competition, we do campaigns in grassroots ways because campaigns serve multiple purposes. Obviously, the goal is to get elected, but along the way, it's an incredible opportunity to recruit and involve people. And a number of you got involved through a political campaign. I certainly did, when I was very, very young. But it's an opportunity to come together, especially when you're in such dark times like we're going through. And when Trump was first elected, we did this, we organized and got people out doing door knocking and all. And it was helpful to us to get through a tough time. So tough times can have opposite impacts. And I think that's what this campaign will be. We will organize, we will mobilize, and we're going to keep on pushing. We're going to fight, and we are going to win this. Thank you.
And so, family, you know what they're doing. They're out here trying to make it seem like Karen Bass is beloved in the city of Los Angeles. Let's go here.
KB for LA! KB for LA! KB for LA! All right, we are here on Sunday morning, and we are fired up and ready to go. And we are in the Valley. That's where we started today. We're going to go out and get those signatures and get people involved because we are going to take this to the finish line because we are ready to fight. And we know that when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. And that's just what we're going to do.
Now, notice that she's using she's using the same slogan as Kamala Harris. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Well, Kamala Harris fought and she lost. Hold on, let me do it in the key of KG. Hold on. She lost. And while you're out here trying to change the conversation, switch up the narrative, I don't think you're going to win when, they're still talking about the cover up. Let's go here.
Tonight, we're learning billionaire real estate developer Rick Caruso is reconsidering his decision not to run for LA mayor or elected office this year. It comes after new allegations that Mayor Karen Bass may have ordered a Palisades fire after action report to be watered down. Eyewitness News reporter Liz Nagy joining us live from Pacific Palisades. Liz.
Mark, tonight, Rick Caruso tells Eyewitness News he has heard from a lot of people today urging him to reconsider running for mayor. All of this comes after a report from the LA Times that alleges Mayor Karen Bass changed and withheld details in the Palisades report. Tonight, Mayor Bass is defiant. She says she and her staff made no changes. Driving into a still dark and desolate Pacific Palisades, roadside signs read, "They let us burn," alongside names including LA Mayor Karen Bass. The LA Times cites two sources that say Mayor Bass ordered edits to the fire department's highly anticipated after-action report. Bass, the Times sources say, told then interim LAFD Chief Ronnie Villanueva she was worried the findings would leave the city legally vulnerable for failures on lack of staffing and pre-deploying fire crews. Sources tell the Times Bass asked for those admissions to be, quote, removed or softened. Initially, this after-action report said the pre-deployment decisions did not align with policy. The Times reports that was then changed to say that the LAFD's pre-deployment plan was above and beyond. Last month, one day before the year anniversary of the Palisades fire, Eyewitness News political reporter Josh Haskell asked Mayor Bass.
You hear reports that the January 7th after action report was tampered with, watered
Very
down.
troubling, right. That's very troubling. But again, there are independent reports becoming available.
Now sources tell the LA Times it was Bass who held on to the initial draft until the changes were made. Instead of speaking on camera or answering questions at a jazz celebration this afternoon, Bass's office fired off a statement admonishing the Times and saying in part, the mayor has been clear about her concerns regarding pre-deployment and the LAFD's response to the fire. There is absolutely no reason why she would request those details be altered or erased when she herself has been critical of the response to the fire. Now with Mayor Karen Bass on the defensive and a primary election looming, real estate mogul Rick Caruso tells Eyewitness News he's reconsidering his decision on whether to run for political office, calling Bass's alleged edits a complete loss of public trust and an intentional act of covering up the actions that led to people dying. Now, Caruso only has a few days to make that decision on whether or not he will run. For her part, Mayor Karen Bass called the LA Times piece muckraking journalism. We reached out to the Times and they told us we stand by our reporting. We're live in Pacific Palisades tonight. Liz Nagy, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right. They stand by their reporting. So, Rick Caruso is out here saying, yeah, man, I might just have to reevaluate whether I want to run or not. I mean, she's making it a little bit too easy. A little bit too easy. Shout out to William Aaron in the building. Much love to you, my good brother. Thank you for being here. We might just get our first Republican governor again in years over this shit. Hey, I was going to say, man, what's his name? Arnold Schwarzenegger. You might get another Arnold in there, so be careful. You know what I mean? Be careful. But Rick Caruso, he ain't the only one out there that's trying to take Karen's seat. No. There's this woman. I think her name is Natia. I might be wrong. But this hijab, she's out here running for the city, for the mayor of the city of Los Angeles. Shout out to our good brother, DSB in the building, my dark-skinned brother. Shalom to you. Much love to you. As well as our good brother John Son in the building. Shalom to you. As well as Shell Nash in the building. Much love and shalom to you all. Thank you all for being here, family. Let's get in.
Today, I filed to run for the mayor of the city of Los Angeles. The city gave me and my husband so much, opportunities beyond what we could have ever hoped for. But today, I fear that the city is no longer a place of opportunity for too many.
Backstory. This woman has worked as a city council member in the 4th district since 2000. And yes, I did look it up to make sure she wasn't in the same district as Nuri Martinez. And she's not. So I just wanted to do my due diligence, give y'all a little bit of background on her. Let's continue.
Los Angeles is at a breaking point, and people can feel it in the most basic ways. Housing costs are out of control, forcing families out, and our homelessness crisis with no clear accountability or leadership is leaving people to lurch from crisis to crisis.
Wait a second. Hold on. That's not what Gavin Newsom just said. No, see, he went on this whole little tirade. Only for you to come in and say the total opposite of what Gavin Newsom just said. But continue. Shout out to our sister I Am Kiera in the building. Much love to you, as well as Only Us in the building. Much love to you. Shout out to Detroit. What up, though? Let's continue.
People don't feel safe walking down their own blocks at night, even as crime goes down, because the city can't keep streetlights on and it can't get the basics right. Everyone agrees we need more housing, but it has failed to move with urgency, building too little and too slowly, forcing working families out of the city over and over again. Fiscally irresponsible decision-making has meant that the city has cut capacity while expecting outcomes to stay the same, and forcing families to pay more while they get less, and believing that this is normal. It isn't. It does not have to be this way. Los Angeles needs a mayor who will take responsibility for the whole system, who will demand accountability from departments, who will prepare for emergencies before they happen, who will communicate honestly when things go wrong, and who will fix what fails. Los Angeles needs a mayor who will fight for more housing, because that's the only way we're going to keep this a city of opportunity. Los Angeles needs a mayor who will keep the streetlights on, who will keep the roads paved, and who will make this city better for every person who lives in it. Los Angeles is a city of extraordinary possibility. I love this city so much, but possibility only matters when leadership is held accountable for it. I'm ready to lead this city with my whole heart, with the seriousness, urgency, and ambition needed for this moment. I'm Nithya Raman, and I'm running for mayor of Los Angeles. I hope you'll join me.
I don't know about that, Nithya, but I am going to say this. I'm going to say this. How many black folk do you have in your district? And if you have black folk in your district who actually see that you've been doing a good job, you won't have a problem with them coming out to vote for you. My thing is this. I don't think you did. I don't think you have black constituents that think that you did a good job. I don't think that you have black constituents that are willing to vote for you. I believe that you probably was like a Nuri Martinez, because, you know, Nuri and Kamala, they were good friends, good buddies. I wouldn't be surprised if you're just like that. I wouldn't be surprised if I was to go into the area of your district and see mostly hijabs, see mostly red dots, because we know how you guys move. We know how you guys work. Out here where I'm at, there's a Walmart. And when you go into the Walmart, you don't see, well, you see some black folk, you see some white folk, but the number one group of people that you see working at that Walmart is all people who are red dot. The majority of the people that work there, that's why I have to stop going to that Walmart, because I'm like, God dang it. I couldn't stand the smell, to be honest with you. The stench when you walk in that damn Walmart. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. If you think, I told you guys a story about when my nephew graduated. We went to the graduation, and we were in this like confined little building or whatnot. And the whole building smelled like ass, musk, and funk. And when you looked around, it was nothing but Indians and Nigerians. Take that smell and times that times 10 in a larger building. I cannot be there, but I digress. I doubt that this person was looking out for her black constituents. You dig what I'm saying? However, it is what it is. We'll see how things work out for Karen Bass in these upcoming elections. Shout out to Renaissance Woman in the building. Shalom to you and peace. Thank you for being here. Yeah, look, I'm telling you, that smell is a smell that you do not ever want to smell. We thought that tethers smell bad. Just imagine just a group, freaking hundreds and hundreds of tethers in one damn location with that same damn smell. Nah. I can't do it. I can't do it. I haven't been to Walmart in at least 5 years. Hey, I appreciate that. That is good shit. I've started going to HEB. That's like, I just cannot. Not with Walmart. I am an HEB or a goddamn Kroger guy. I will not deal. I will not deal. Now let's talk about the Democrats as a whole right now, because while they're running around here talking about the racist policies of Donald Trump, this, that, and the third, they're trying their hardest to make sure that they fight against passing the SAVE Act. And they're saying it's because, and like I said, they like to call out everybody else's racism, but then will turn right around and practice racism or say things that are outright blatantly racist about Black Americans, right? So let's go here first, because I want to kind of give some context here with this.
When you go to the DMV and you get a driver's license or an ID, you register to vote. You do not need any citizenship to do that. When you get any benefits in the state of California, they send you a voter registration card. You do not need to show any ID or proof of citizenship to do that. Then you're on the voter rolls. Those voter rolls, they keep adding people on over and over and over again, and nobody's cross-referencing IDs on those voter rolls. So when you talk to Bob Page on a local level or any local registrar of voters, they're going to say, well, yeah, we've got a really great operation on site. We're just taking what Sacramento gives us in regards to the rules. We can't ask for ID on site, or we can't cross-reference ID. So the problem isn't ours anymore, right? It's that diffusion of responsibility. So the reality is Sacramento's got the problem in their hands, and they're avoiding it by pushing it around. So that's the manner in which we need to talk about this subject. It is 100% fact that you do not need to prove any citizenship to get voter registration in California.
To become a voter in California, all you have to do is check a box and say that, yeah, I'm legal. And they don't check, they don't ask, they absolutely nothing. And there are zero flags. The only reason the dog got caught in Orange County was because it voted in a federal election that does have the flags. So God knows our roles in California are screwed, and we got to get them straightened up.
And another success is that last year we put it on the ballot and you guys voted for it. We're the only city in California that requires voter ID because of you guys.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about this voter ID. You dig me? Because the Democrats are going around saying that adding voter ID to the process is racist. They said, you don't have driver's license, foundational Black Americans. They said, you can't make it to the DMV, foundational Black Americans. They said that you can't get your paperwork together, foundational Black Americans. They say that you don't have birth certificates, foundational Black Americans. They're blaming this all on you. They're tossing this all on you. When the fact of the matter is, they're saying all of these things in order to make sure that they can have illegals voting. Let's go here.
The real agenda here is to exploit immigrants in their desire to rig the election this November and hold on to power. That's what it's about for Republicans. We got to stand up for it. Stand up to it.
It sounds like you're not willing to negotiate on voter ID. Senator, I do want to ask you one. Go ahead.
But voter ID is a solution in search of a problem, because the truth is voter fraud in America is exceedingly rare, study after study. The real agenda here.
Okay, study after study, he say. All right. Shout out to Rael in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as my sister. I seen you came in here. Give me 1 second. Our sister Nina in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Let's go here. Oh, nope. Let's go here first.
Simply a step toward totalitarian and authoritarian effort to suppress the vote. And it goes along with.
Now, family, get what he just said. Voter ID is a totalitarian, authoritarian way to suppress the vote. Having voter ID laws in place. Really? This is the logic that these people are moving with. Let's run it back.
Simply a step toward totalitarian and authoritarian effort to suppress the vote. And it goes along with his seizing election machines and voting rolls, imposing citizenship tests, a series of actions that are designed to suppress and maybe stop the vote. Simply a step toward totalitarian and authoritarian effort to suppress the vote.
So, Leader Schumer, this talk about election security has revived discussions of the SAVE Act, which you have said you oppose. Proponents of it say that it's, to have ID, you have to prove U.S. citizenship to be able to vote. Though some of the claims they make, to be clear, are overstated. We know there's not widespread election fraud. But polling does suggest, there's a new Pew Research poll that 95% of Republicans, but also 71% of Democrats like this idea. So why do you not?
It's Jim Crow 2.0. And I called it Jim Crow 2.0, and the right wing went.
Nigga, please.
Where in the hell, how the hell are voter ID laws an equivalent to Jim Crow laws? This is the disrespectful shit that they say. This is the racist shit that they say while they point the finger at the Trump regime and talk about his racism. They're out here blatantly being racist towards us, blatantly being disingenuous. How are you sitting here insulting us by trying to compare voter ID laws to Jim Crow laws? Make it make sense. Make the math up. That makes absolutely no damn sense at all. These folks are out here blatantly disrespecting us, blatantly lying when it comes to our history and these comparisons to what's going on with these illegals versus us. Do you see why I named this broadcast Punish Them? These people need to be punished for this stuff. These people need to be punished for their disrespect. These people need to be punished for their lying tactics. They need to be punished for their inability to tell the truth when it comes to us. Punish all of them. Let's go.
Nuts all over the internet. That's because they know it's true. What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting. For instance, if you change, you're a woman who got married and changed your last name, you won't be able to show ID and you'll be discriminated against.
Ladies, anybody who's been married, can you please let me know in the chat what happens after you get married? What happens to your identification after you get married? Don't you just take your marriage certificate up to the DMV and get a new one? I got to ask that question because it makes absolutely no damn sense that this idiot is saying this. So now if you get married, you won't be able to take your ID up there and go and present it to vote? I could have sworn okay, thank you. You changed your paperwork. That's it, that's all. So I'm right, Miss Niecy. Okay, yeah. So you change your name. If you get married, you take on your husband's last name. Then you get your marriage certificate. You go to the DMV, and then you get a new identification card. It's that damn simple. Or you can take your birth certificate up to the polling place with your identification card and say, hey, this is my maiden name. I mean, Somebody make it make sense. Why do these people think we're so stupid? And California has fingerprint. Okay, it's they must have implemented that after I left. But yeah, okay. So there you go. So what the hell is this dude even talking about? Shout out to Christian Wright in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family. Yeah, take all three: ID, marriage, and birth certificates, and vote. That simple.
If you can't find a birth certificate or a proper ID, you'll be discriminated against. This is vicious and nasty. And I said to our Republican colleagues, it will not pass the Senate. You will not get a single Democratic vote in the Senate. We're not reviving Jim Crow all over the country. And when the American people hear what exactly it is doing and what its intent is doing, they're going to be against it as well.
How in the hell, even if, let's just say what you're saying is factual, okay? Even though we know it's not. Let's just say it is. How in the hell can you equate a person who got married that hasn't changed their name on their identification to a person that was lynched in the South for just being black? To a person that was lynched in order to keep them from voting? What woman that hasn't changed their last name on their birth on their damn identification card yet has been lynched to keep them from voting? How are you comparing Jim Crow, an era of mass terrorism on foundational Black Americans, open terrorism on foundational Black Americans, where they used to hang us and bring the little kids to watch us hang, where they used to leave church and go and have picnics where they would hang the pickaninnies, or what they called us to be, pickaninnies. How does this equate? It absolutely doesn't. And it's disrespectful. It is goddamn disingenuous. And it should be checked. Let me go over here to this sister who had furthermore to say.
What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting.
See, this is where my righteous anger pop up, because I know what he's saying is a lie. I live in the South. I've been living in the South my whole life on the Gulf Coast. I go to vote every single time there's an election. And guess what? I show my ID. I write my signature. They check to make sure who I am. I go vote. No problems. Nobody asking me any questions. Nobody making me count the jelly beans in the jar. And quit lumping us in the people of color category. We're Black Americans and we are citizens, and nobody is taking away our right to vote. What they are doing is they're using Black people, going back in the past, provoking emotional manipulation, because they know if they say Jim Crow or slavery, Black people are gonna be like, oh my God, he's right. They're coming against us. This has nothing to do with you, Black people. Wake up. People of color he's talking about is illegal migrants. They don't have IDs. That's their new voting base. But letting these people use you. I've been having an ID since I was 15 years old. I'm 50 years old. Every Black person I know has an ID. You need an ID to drive. You need an ID to go into a club. You need an ID to fly on a plane. You need an ID to go into another country. You need an ID to buy liquor. You need an ID to buy cigarettes. I don't know any Black person without an ID. Even the poorest of the poor Black people have an ID. JJ down the street that dig in the trash can that I pass by, and he always bothering me about a little bit of money. And when I'm feeling a little giving, I give him $5. Guess what he do? He goes straight into the liquor store and go buy him some liquor. But before he do, he present his ID. So even the homeless man got an ID. Black people, y'all can keep letting these liberals play in y'all face, but Malcolm X warned y'all about these people. They're using you. This is about getting illegal migrants to vote. They don't have an ID, so they don't want any questions whenever they walk in there. They are the Democratic Party new voting base. They are the new slave.
For instance, if you change, you're a woman who got married and changed your last name, you won't be able to show ID and you'll be discriminated against. If you can't find a birth certificate or a proper ID, you'll be discriminated against.
Well, first of all, that's a lie. I've been married twice. Don't judge me. Divorced, and then he died. Now I'm remarried. Now let's get back to it. Both times I presented my birth certificate and photo ID. And then I got a marriage license. I got married. And then if I tarried on getting my name changed, guess what? If I went to vote and I didn't have the right name, all I have to do is bring my marriage license. And we know we got a birth certificate. You know why? Because I needed it to get my marriage license, dummy. or if you didn't need it, you had to have some type of ID in order to get the marriage license. So you bring both. You bring both. And they check it, and they see that the marriage license is your name change. That is just if you just got married at the time of an election. Most of us women, we get married and we handle business. We go ahead and get that new social security card and that new driver's license. Black America, I'm going to need you to wake up. Did you hear what I said? Black America.
Shout out to that queen and shout out for that fire that she brings, because god dang it, you absolutely damn right. She said JJ down the street who be digging in the trash, who be begging me for money, and when I feel a little generous, I give him some money. He has an ID so he can go in the store and buy his little liquor. And that is absolutely correct. God dang it. If homeless people are out here with god dang identification cards, you cannot tell me that we ain't got identification cards. Let's be real on that. And then shout out to our sister Rosemary, because she brought up a fantastic point. We even got library cards, where we got dual library cards. We got the cards that go inside of our wallets and our purse or whatever for the ladies. And then we got the ones that go on the keychains. We keep up with our stuff. Some of us have IDs that have been around for damn near 10 years, or they replaced that identification card and didn't throw away the old one. I still got my old ID card from California, and it already didn't expired. We keep our documents together. And when my house caught on fire in California, and I lost my birth certificate in that house fire, you know what I had to do? I had to contact the Office of Vital Records and get me another goddamn birth certificate. And then I had to get another birth certificate. They had to fix that one because they messed up on my name. My name is Lawrence. They spelled it Larwence instead of Lawrence. So for the longest, apparently, they said that my goddamn birth certificate had a goddamn typo on it for years, and I didn't know nothing about it. But when I ended up seeing, oh, there's a typo on my birth certificate, and then they gave me an ID with the way that it was spelled on the birth certificate, I had to call Vital Records. Once again, hey, Vital Records, guess what? There's a typo in my name. They sent me my new birth certificate. I have to go get a new identification card. We know how to keep our documents together. We have all the documents we need when it comes down to voting. Because for decades, they tried to keep us from voting in other ways. So for the people that know our history, when it comes down to voting documents, we make sure to keep our stuff up to date. So if we choose to sit it out, they can't say, oh, he only set it out because he didn't have ID. They can't say he only set it out because he didn't know where to go and vote. No, if I choose to sit it out, you know damn well it's because you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing for my people. Let's be very clear about that. So these folks, it is very disingenuous and disrespectful to be saying these things, but they're making sure they're going out, sending everybody out with the same damn talking point, the exact same talking points. Let's go here.
What's wrong with the SAVE Act? What's wrong with it is that it might violate the 19th Amendment, which gives women the right to vote, because you've got to show that all of your different IDs match. So if you're a woman who's gotten married and you've changed your name to your husband's name, but so now your current name is different from your name at birth. Now you've got to go ahead and document that. You need an affidavit explaining why. And why would we go to all of these the troubles in order to keep people from voting when none of the states that are actually running the elections are telling us that there's any problem? We have to defend those elections because Donald Trump, who obviously has no other program for America relating to health care, relating to housing for young people, relating to any public good, has one objective in mind, which is trying to steal the election the way he tried to steal it back in 2020 when he called the Republican Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger in Georgia, and said, I just want you to find me 11,780 votes. That wasn't Donald Trump trying to stop election fraud. That was Donald Trump trying to commit election fraud. And he did it all over the country, and he will try again. But we are ready for him, and we have people fighting all over America to defend the democratic institutions that we've got. We have to defend those elections because Donald...
Family, you know when Elizabeth Warren is saying the exact same thing as all the other Democrats, I mean word by word, verbatim by verbatim, it takes you right back to after, actually before the election when they did all those videos where they were sending out all those Democrats to say the same propaganda, and people put those videotapes together to show that they're all saying the same damn thing, all pushing propaganda. This is what you get with Elizabeth Warren. A liar on top of a liar, or as Trump liked to call her, Pocahontas, as the orange man calls her, Flocahontas. Yes, let's let her get into it.
The SAVE Act is expected to be brought this week to the floor for a vote. Do you support voter ID for elections?
Well, it depends on what you mean by voter ID. When you want to say that everyone has to produce a birth certificate, including women whose married names are not on their birth certificates, that creates a real problem for me.
Well, isn't that just one of the first steps in getting married is getting a new ID?
Actually, it's not getting a new birth certificate, because part of what the SAVE Act does is it says most driver's licenses around the country won't work as an ID. And that creates a terrible problem.
But you need an ID to do just about anything in America. Shouldn't you need one to
don't
vote
need
in
a
elections?
birth certificate. I hope you know that.
Thank you. The SAVE Act is expected to be brought this...
You don't need a birth certificate. I hope you know that. Ma'am, if I need to take my birth certificate up there to vote, then I'll take my birth certificate up there to vote. If I don't want to take the actual birth certificate, I'll make a copy and I'll take it up there with it. Don't nobody really care about taking their birth certificate to vote. It's only people that don't have birth certificates that have an issue with voting with birth certificates. This is what I'm talking about. These folks really just, they're just showing their cards. And they have a losing hand. That's what it is. They have a losing hand and they're trying their hardest to bluff us out of our winning hand. That's really what you're seeing here. A bunch of people trying to bluff us out of a winning hand. Shout out to Leon Atkins. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family. As well as our brother Mental OG in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here, my good brother. As well as Crux in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family. Do want to make sure I got everybody. All right. Cool. Now, let's go here.
Can you take out your driver's license? Mr. Scott has his out. If you took yours out, I'm looking at mine. What we're talking about here is, does your driver's license tell us where you were born? It does not, does it?
No, not in the state of Wisconsin.
Mr. Scott, yours doesn't either. Because what we're talking about is registration. You cannot use this ID to register to vote under your bill. Is that correct, Mr. Scott?
You could not use your ID. That would be an accurate statement.
Chairman Stiles, do you have a passport?
I personally do.
You do have a passport.
I'm part of the roughly 50% of Americans.
You're roughly 50% of Americans have a passport because you travel. About 50% of Americans don't travel internationally. They don't have that money. Is that right? One of the reasons you have to have a certain amount of money to be able to travel internationally to get that passport, to pay for that passport. Is that correct?
There is a charge.
There is a charge.
Passport.
21.3 million American citizens of voting age don't have ready access to citizenship documents. This is ready access.
I want to run that back.
21.3 million American citizens.
21.3 million American citizens don't have access to voting documents. Really? Like I said, these people talk as if Everybody who's listening are idiotic. The things that they say are moronic, but they think that they're talking to idiotic people. So you're telling me there's 21.3 million people that don't have identification cards and don't have the ability to get identification cards, social security cards, birth certificate. When you're born, you're given a birth certificate. If you do not have a birth certificate, you call the Office of Vital Records in your city that you were born in. I was born in Gardena, California. So I had to call Gardena, California. I had to call the Vital Records in Gardena, California. I had to spend $25. And they sent me a new birth certificate. When they messed up on that birth certificate and there was a typo, I had to spend another $25. $25. And then they sent me the replacement with the correct spelling of my name on there. If you ain't got $25 to get your birth certificate, then you really, really, really need to do something about your life. You need to reevaluate what's going on in your life if you ain't got $25 to get a birth certificate. Yeah, see, it just depends on $25 for one. I paid 20 for two in Gulfport County. Okay, well, see, here's the thing. It just depends on the state and it depends on where you were born, right? What county you were born in. Not all counties charge the same, right? So some counties in California is $15. My county, or the county that I was born in, is $25. And they didn't have a fee waiver for me. They didn't have a fee waiver. You could, some states and some counties, have fee waivers. The ones that I was born in didn't have the fee waiver. Or maybe they were just lying to me just to get more money because I did spend $50 for two goddamn things. But still, it's easy to get a birth certificate is what I'm saying here. It is highly easy. Shout out to Dolores in the building. Much love to you. And thank you for being here, my sister, all day, all day. Exactly. And you register when you turn 18. Exactly. When you go to the DMV, you are able to register to vote. Let's continue.
Of voting age don't have ready access to citizenship documents. This is ready access. We already discussed earlier the fact that this bill, you have changed the enactment date of this bill to go in effect as soon as it is signed into law. And if that happens, then there's 21.3 million American citizens who might not be prepared for a future in a few weeks in terms of Texas, who might want to, they're excited about the race, they're excited about the Republicans.
You know what? And another thing, if you're in a state and you're on the county, let's just say you're so poor that you can't spend the $25 to get you a birth certificate. If you're in a state where you're on the county, like California, you can actually go to the county building and get a fee waiver for your identification. You can get a fee waiver for your birth certificate. I know a friend of mine did it twice when I was in California. So I know for damn sure, even if the poorest of the poor don't have the money to get these documents, you can go to the county and apply for the fee waiver, and they will give you a fee waiver for these documents. But let's let her continue. Shout out to our sister Key Prince. She says that it is $165 for a passport in New York. That is wild. That is wild. In Texas, I believe it is like 140 if you're a first-time passport recipient. Let me make sure. I think it's 140. It's 145 for an adult in Texas if it's your first time, plus a $35 execution fee. For just the passport card, it is $55 per adult and $40 for a minor. And then it's $115 plus a $35 execution fee for the minors out here. So it's not too far off from what you guys are spending out there. But 165, is that just 165 flat out, or does it come with the execution fee as well? Because if it comes with the if that is just 165 just flat out, then that's a damn good price for all of it. But if you got to put the execution fee on top of it, that's where I'm like, that's wild. William said he spent $210. Damn. That is a hell of a large amount for a goddamn passport. Let's let her continue.
Senators who are running against each other and battling it out. They're excited about the Democrat primary. They want to get involved. They want to register to vote. They might be on one of the 21.3 million Americans who don't have ready access to citizenship documents. That's what we are concerned about, is that by rushing this into law, you are going to prevent so many people from being able to register to vote. And that's unacceptable. When you say how many immigrants are too many voting, I'd flip the question and ask you, how many eligible citizens are you worried about being turned away because you are rushing something like this into law?
So we shouldn't be looking at how many illegals are voting when they're not supposed to be. We're supposed to ignore all of that and say, how many people are we keeping from registering? When if you have all your documents like an American citizen would, you wouldn't be getting kept from voting because you have all the mandatory documents. Only an American non-citizen, a non-citizen to America wouldn't have those documents, so they wouldn't be able to register. You dig? You see how that works? But they're trying their hardest to make it seem like what they're arguing is sensible, and it's not. Let's go here.
The SAVE Act is expected to be brought to the floor for a vote this week. What are your thoughts on that? Are you going to support the SAVE Act?
Not at all. It's a terrible idea. This notion that we want to put more obstacles in the paths of voters is just what Donald Trump wants. Fewer people voting. I want every legal citizen in America to be able to vote without obstacles.
Do you think requiring an ID to vote in elections is making it harder?
It's more than that. It's more than an ID. It's proof that you were born in America. So what are we talking about? A passport or a birth certificate? Got one of those handy with you in your purse? I doubt it.
Well, if you're going to the voting poll and you know what you need to bring, it's just one of those documents, right?
Well, just one of those documents. Think about securing your birth certificate before you go in to vote. Why are we creating these obstacles? So we have the lowest incidence of fraud.
Think about securing your birth certificate before you go in to vote. You already got to secure it if you already have a birth certificate. You have a birth certificate somewhere in your house. All you got to do is find it. All you got to do is find it. I know where mine is. It's in the drawer. I don't even have to find it. I can make a copy of it. I can put it in my wallet, and I can go wherever I need to go if I need to go and do my voting. But go ahead.
So we have the lowest incidence of fraud and misuse of voting in the world. And Donald Trump wants to put more obstacles in path of voters. I want everybody legally entitled to vote to have that option without complications.
Thank you very much.
All right, he said we have the lowest incidence of voter fraud. Let me take you here.
3,000 registered voters in Alabama just got booted from the state voter rolls. That's after the Secretary of State, Wes Allen, ordered the removal of all non-citizens who were registered. But how did non-citizens get registered in the first place? WAFF 48's Nick Ballinger spoke to the Secretary of State to get to the bottom of this story. Nick?
How many now? Hold on, let me run that back.
3,000 registered voters in Alabama just got booted from the state voter rolls. 3,000 registered voters in Alabama just got booted from the state voter rolls. 3,000 registered voters in Alabama just got booted from the state voter rolls. That's after the Secretary of State, Wes Allen, ordered the removal of all non-citizens who
3,000 illegals were just booted from the Alabama voter rolls. 3,000. Now, let this man tell it.
Where you want to vote. You know, why are we creating these obstacles? So we have the lowest incidence of fraud and misuse of voting in the world.
And then
3,000 registered voters in Alabama just got booted from the state voter rolls. That's after the Secretary of State, Wes Allen, ordered the removal of all non-citizens who were registered. But how did non-citizens get registered in the first place? WAFF 48's Nick Ballinger spoke to the Secretary of State to get to the bottom of this story. Nick?
Yeah, Margaret, when I asked Secretary Allen how these people got registered to vote in the first place, he couldn't give me a clear answer just yet, saying it was still being investigated. But when he gave me a breakdown of how many there were in each county, the numbers were glaring. This is a list from Secretary of State Wes Allen of how many non-citizens were registered to vote in our counties. The state found 3,251 people. 742 of them were from North Alabama.
We got the information. We cross-checked it against our centralized data file here in the state of Alabama and found those 3,200 individuals.
The information he's talking about are people with alien registration numbers. Those are issued to immigrants who intend to live in this country permanently and have already applied for a green card. However, you're not eligible to vote with just an alien identification number. When I asked Allen how 3,000 plus were able to register in the first place, he couldn't give me the answer.
But it's our belief that only American citizens should be allowed to vote. Non-citizens, whether they're legal or illegal immigrants, cannot register to vote. It's a federal offense.
To vote.
But yet they are. Now, how many states you think, this is just Alabama, how many states do you think have people on their voting rolls that aren't supposed to be there that hasn't been caught up yet? That hasn't been brought to the forefront yet? That hasn't had the light shined on them yet? They keep saying that we have the lowest numbers of voter fraud, but we keep finding these large numbers of people trying to vote who are not citizens and aren't able to vote. See what I'm saying, family? If it's happening in one state, guarantee, like a good brother just stated, it's happening in all of them. Anywhere there's a Democratic Democratic leadership at play, I can almost guarantee there's going to be some voter fraud. And when I say voter fraud, I mean illegals being on the voter rolls. Shout out to our brother DSB. It's called cheating, but they love to blame cheating all on Trump. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they're trying their hardest to make sure that everybody know when you think cheater, think Donald Trump. When you think stolen election, think Donald Trump. But then we see situations such as this. But that's one, the voting ID situation. And another situation that they're not getting the message on, they're not getting the memo, is in the ICE situation, the ICE out situation that they're doing. Before we get there, let me get to some of these super chat. Shout out to Snatch Adams one more time. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold. If you're a legal citizen, this simply inconveniences you. If you're not, it makes it easier for ICE to find you. That's why they're crashing out. You're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. And shout out to First Class Citizen. Thank you for being here. Much love to you. And thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contribution as always, family. First Class Citizen says, this is definitely the Democratic playbook. And I am with you 100-fold. because for some damn reason, this is happening majorly in Democratic states and cities. We're finding all these things to be happening. But let's get over here to what they're not reading the room again. Like I said, they don't want to change. They do not want to change their rhetoric whatsoever. They're trying to push the same rhetoric as if this is going to keep them in office.
When Americans see the pictures of these goons beating people, pushing people, and even shooting and killing people, they say, this is not America. And what the hell is going on in our cities? It is reminiscent of dictatorship.
But when it was us getting, unalived in the street by your race soldiers and your police departments, nobody said nothing. When it was us being unalived by civilian citizens who are supposed to be civilians, like a Daniel Penny, like a Zimmerman, like the McMichaels. Nobody said nothing. But because it's happening to a bunch of people that shouldn't be in the country, all of a sudden, this is dictatorship. That's very disingenuous, and I don't think that I like that very much. I know I don't like that very much. Shout out to our good brother Antithesis in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Also, thank you for your Cash App donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother. Let's let him continue. Oh, you know what? Let's go here too. Shout out to our brother William. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother. New York needs to fire Schmuck Schumer. Hey, you know what? I'm with you 100% fold, but I'm more. I really like that you called him a Schmuck Schumer because that's exactly what he is. That's one of my favorite words that Michael Jackson has ever said. A freaking schmuck. He's a freaking schmuck. Let's let him continue.
We need real accountability. There's got to be oversight. No secret police. They need identification and no masks. We're united with the American people. We're united as House and Senate Democrats because this is turning America inside out in a way we haven't seen in a very long time. When Americans see the...
All right, let's go over here to what Jacob Frey is doing out there in Minneapolis and what he had to say about the raids as well. Let's go here.
Worth noting that during the Obama years, the Hennepin County Jail actually had a policy where they let an ICE agent keep an office there and allowed them to talk to immigrants. So the policy has clearly been under a Democratic president what now the Trump administration is asking for. I mean, big picture, do you think it's good policy for the jails to follow an ICE detainer and hand someone over if they've committed a crime? And again, this only happens after they've served.
Not chicken rum Chuck. Chicken rum truck. Oh, Chuck. You were catching all kind of bullets out here. Bullet.
Served their time, for whatever crime they may have committed against the people of Minnesota.
I mean, look, you're asking all the right questions here. And while I don't have full expertise in how the operations at the jail are conducted, again, that's not our jurisdiction. What I would say is that there are mechanisms to do this lawfully.
It is worth noting that during the Obama...
You notice how they keep saying what Trump is doing is not lawful, although it is. And they keep on throwing out that term lawfully. When these people aren't moving lawfully, these people aren't doing anything that they're doing lawfully. They're actually inciting a lot of these civil unrest. You dig what I'm saying? So what they're doing isn't really lawful. But you gotta love that they keep on saying lawfully. There's a way to do this lawfully. And how is that? Because all they're doing, if you do not intervene, all you will get is people doing their job lawfully. The second someone intervened, and now it become a situation to where now they got to use tear gas. Now they got to become more violent. Now they have to be more brutal. Now they got to do what you don't want them to do. So tell me, what the hell would you consider lawfully when they're doing their job already lawfully, and you guys are being unlawful to them? Like I said, these people are living in a world of delusion. And in their eyes, they're gaining people. But the fact of the matter is, in reality, they're losing more and more people every damn day that they keep on spewing these talking points that holds themselves outside of reality. Let's go here.
As a Black woman, I want to say that the trauma and the terror is deeply familiar in an ancestral way. In the same way that masked, cowardly militia played the role of judge, jury, and executioner and visited terror upon Black communities for centuries, that terror is now coming everywhere in the form of ICE, an entity that is unconscionable, unlawful, unconstitutional, racist, and rogue.
None of those things are true. The entity itself is not unconstitutional. So why do you guys keep on trying to make it seem like ICE is an unconstitutional entity? It wasn't unconstitutional when Joe Biden was in office. It wasn't unconstitutional when Barack Obama was in office. It wasn't unconstitutional when Bush was in office. It wasn't unconstitutional when goddamn Bill Clinton was in office. It's only unconstitutional because Trump is in office.
Killing our neighbors in broad daylight, separating families. This has nothing to do with law and order because you cannot be.
Notice also how they switched the narrative from saying migrants, even though they're illegals, to saying neighbors. So now they can say Renee Good is their neighbor. They can say the illegals are their neighbor. People who don't stand for this nonsense, they're their neighbors. But I don't agree with this neighbor. I believe that neighbor means that you stay within a 10 to 15 foot radius from each other. Like I can knock on my door, on my neighbor's door next door. And next door to him is another neighbor. I can go and knock on that door. In this facility, in this area where I am, I have many neighbors because we're in like this cul-de-sac type style, the way that the streets are designed. But people who are coming into the city or coming into the state that aren't supposed to be there, they're not my neighbors. When I come come across an illegal living anywhere on my street, I don't call them my neighbors. I call ICE and get them up out of here because they're here illegally. And because them being here illegally is going to hurt my community the most overall. Those aren't neighbors. They're infiltrators. They're leeches. But go ahead.
About law and order when you deny people their constitutional rights and due process. And you certainly don't give a damn about public safety when you are sowing chaos and terror in our communities. So
but it's you guys that are having opposing. Let me clear that up. Let me say this correctly. It's actually you guys that are inciting people to go out there and oppose ICE, to get in the way of a federal officer doing their job, to impede federal investigations. Okay.
in the same way that the KKK certainly cannot be reformed.
It is funny that you guys can't speak about a topic that you guys care so much about without bringing us up in history, our history that do not pertain to anyone else. The KKK wasn't out here lynching illegals. The KKK wasn't out here lynching other people of color at all. They were only going after foundational Black Americans. In the very same way that you don't see too many lynchings of some other melanated person of color today. It's always our people we find hanging in trees. Like I said, they're not reading the room.
Certainly cannot be reformed. And what I will say on the heels of celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which I seek to do year-round and not just for a day or a long weekend, we can't quote King, who challenged us to not be intoxicated by the drug of gradualism, that this was not the time for cooling off. So in the spirit of Dr. King, it's time that we be bold, and that we be radical, and that we abolish ICE now. And finally, I will just say, there can never be justice, because justice...
Now, with that, Bernice, Mrs. King, in the very same way that you put out a statement about Shabusi, you should be putting out a statement about this. Bernice King, in the very same way you put out a statement to Shabusi, you should be putting a statement out to the Democratic Party to stop using your father's name to further the agenda of everyone else except for foundational Black Americans who your father fought for. Otherwise, you're in agreement with what they're doing. You're in agreement with what they're saying. You're in agreement with the nonsense that they keep on coming out trying to convince us to support. Yeah, Bernice, I'm going to need you to get on that immediately. This is why a Shabusi or Shabusi can be or feel so comfortable with getting up there talking about, immigrants built America, quite literally, because you're giving the Democrats your political capital by letting them use your father in everything that they do and say. That's against foundational Black Americans. This is why you opened the door for that. So I'm going to need you to shut that door. I'm going to need you to check your brothers. I'm going to need you to check your family and make sure that nobody allows any party to use Dr. Martin Luther King or Coretta Scott King as proxies, as puppets, as props, as pawns in order to push an agenda that do not benefit the people that they were trying to protect while they were here on earth. Otherwise, you support that agenda. You support their erasure. You support the fact that they want to bring in all these other people and give them our resources. You support everything that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did from 2020 to 2024 and on outward. A B1 salute, a first class citizen. Once again, thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. That is a classic Democrat strategy, equating illegal protests with slavery and a triple K, a false equivalency. And you are absolutely correct. That is something that they do continuously. This is something that is perpetual when it comes down to the Democratic Party.
Would mean that Keith Porter would not have been murdered. Right. Justice would mean that Silvario Gonzalez would not have been murdered. Right. Justice would mean that Alex Petty would not have been murdered. Justice would mean that Renee Good would not have been murdered. But there must be accountability, and that is exactly why we must do away with the unjust legal doctrine that is qualified immunity. Right. And that is why I have introduced legislation, the Qualified Immunity Abolition Act.
And you also just introduced to us that you don't know what justice means. Justice doesn't mean you give leeway to people who's breaking the law. That's not justice. Justice isn't throwing yourself on your sword for a bunch of people that shouldn't be in the country to begin with. Justice isn't taking to the streets to stand up for a bunch of people who are anti-black by nature. That is not justice whatsoever. That is idiocracy. That is stupidity. Let's go here, family.
ICE is not the Gestapo. It's not anything that is inherently un-American. In fact, it is something that is deeply American. This is the American brand of authoritarianism that has lived on and existed since inception. The reality is this is regular, run-of-the-mill American racism. And it's okay that we admit that. It's okay that we recognize that our nation has been flawed. And in recognizing that, it is the only way to forge a pathway forward. It is the only way that we're able to do anything about this. But as long as we ignore history, as long as we ignore those flaws, we are continuing to equip this authoritarian regime with the very tools that it needs for our destruction. This administration is showing us exactly who they think America should be for. They've already detained and deported American citizens. We've seen literal children be used as bait and pulled from schools. We're seeing a hyper focus on American cities with communities of color. Their focus is to make an America that reflects them, their values, their desires. And we need to be very clear about that. But we also need to fight back. And we need to have the exact same energy that they have right now in our destruction for building what we actually believe is a better world, a better society, an America that reflects us and our values and the best that we could possibly have to offer it. And we have so much to offer it, which means that we have so much to fight for right now. Who is this? Oh, yeah, this off-code person. Yeah, this off-code person here. She goes by the name of Representative Summer Lee. That's who this idiotic person is. So who's this off-code sellout? Let's go here. That's what the American people are doing right now in the streets of America. That's what they're using to protect themselves. Whistles and their cameras. That's what they're doing against a fascist army. Speaker Johnson says, quote, ICE is doing what ICE is designed to do. That's what he said. How many more of our neighbors have to be executed? How many more of our neighbors have to be killed? I refuse to send another dollar to the Department of Homeland Security. My residents don't want their tax dollars going to execute people in the streets, abduct 5-year-olds, tear gas children, and separate our families. This is what the Trump administration is doing right now with DHS funding. It's a fascist army and it's shameful. I grew up in Southwest Detroit, Mr. Speaker, with 20 different beautiful ethnicities. We were the northern border. And what my community and our community kept telling us back then during its creation, literally, is they told us they are violating people's civil rights. We do not feel safe with them in our community. People were jogging around our parks and getting stopped to be asked what their legal status was. They were militarizing Southwest Detroit. They told us back then.
Oh, you talking about stop and frisk? Oh, no, you're not talking about stop and frisk. You're talking about stop and frisk for Mexicans. You're talking about stop and frisk for illegals. You're talking about stop and frisk for the people that you want to be your constituents. Oh, I get it. That's why it's a problem. All right, go ahead.
Stop funding ICE. Kristi Noem has violated the United States Constitution, eroded due process, and again violated federal processes and laws by preventing members of Congress already from conducting oversight in their facilities. Shame on them. This is not an agency, Mr. Speaker, that can be reformed. You can impeach the secretary and she needs to be impeached. But this is an agency that was created to do what it's doing now. It is built on violence and racism. ICE must be abolished. Kristi Noem must be impeached. These murders should be prosecuted. I'm not looking for people to get fired. I'm looking for them to be truly held accountable for killing our loved ones, for ripping our children from our arms. Not one more penny should go to this agency that terrorizes our communities.
All right. And let's go here. Like I said, these people have no problem putting on the show as long as it's not about you.
Was it yes or no? It was a yes or no answer. I asked him, Willie. No, it was yes or no. Stop covering for the president.
Yeah, well,
stop being his flunky.
And gentlemen,
He's talking to me. I'm responding to him.
2006 trip to Venezuela.
Stop covering for the president. Don't be a flunky. Work for the American people. Work for the American people. Don't be a cover up for a mob.
Reclaiming my time. Was a mass unfettered immigration.
Mr. Chair, we let him know that when I asked him
time does belong to hell's a woman. 10 and 20 million immigrants.
Was it yes or no? It was a
It's funny that this man was out here yelling out, work for the American people. Stop bootlicking for the president. Stop trying to bootlick for the president. Work for the American people. And the Democratic Party isn't working for the American people. They're working for a bunch of illegals. They're working for a bunch of illegals, but this man has no problem yelling at the top of his lungs to stop working for the president and start working for the American people.
Yes or no answer. I asked him, Willie. No,
Gentlemen,
yes
the
or
chair
no.
recognizes the gentleman.
Stop covering for the president.
Yeah, well,
Stop being his flunky.
And gentlemen,
He's talking to me. I'm responding.
Your
What the hell?
2006 trip to Venezuela.
Stop covering for the president. Don't be a flunky. Work for the American
Secretary,
people.
trip to Venezuela.
Work for the American people.
Do you think that these people are reading the room? I don't. I don't think that they want to get into office whatsoever. They don't want to take back the House or the Senate. They don't want to get into the presidency because, you know, they're still holding on to that goddamn playbook. They're trying their hardest to hold on to their love, and there is no in vogue in the room. But for the next clip, got to play this.
Send in the clowns.
Because now we got to go here. Yeah. Raphael Warnock. This is what he had to say.
They are seizing ballots, raiding Americans' homes without warrants, gunning down.
Notice how he's trying to sound like Dr. King. They are seizing ballots, breaking down people's homes. Look, listen to this man.
They are seizing ballots, raiding Americans' homes without warrants, gunning down ordinary citizens on American streets, arresting journalists. All the alarm bells are blaring. The question is, are we listening? They are seizing.
The question is the Democratic Party listening? Obviously not. You guys are not listening. You're not reading the room. You're not reading the freaking base. You're doing the opposite of what your base would want. You're doing the opposite of what's best for American citizens, and you're doing the opposite of what you should be doing as a representative. As a matter of fact, you're doing so much of an opposite. You guys are out here trying to ward off ICE from many of these locations, many of your cities, and many of your states. But like I said, that's going to be unconstitutional, because if you're going to ward off ICE, then you got to ward off the police enforcement too. You got to ward off state police enforcement. Let's go here.
Hi, everyone. On California's law banning ICE and other law enforcement from wearing ski masks, we have some very, very good news from the court.
So this is what I was telling you guys about earlier about the whole ski mask situation with ICE.
And some temporary bad news that we're going to fix. The good news is that the federal court held that California does have the power to ban federal agents from wearing these masks. And that's a great thing. The court, however, put the law on hold because our law, based on our conversations with the governor's office last year, includes local and federal law enforcement, but not state police officers. And so the court ruled that in order for the law to be fully enforceable, it needs to include all levels of law enforcement.
So in order for the law to be enforceable, it must include all levels of law enforcement. So with these folks out here trying to implement laws to keep ICE out, it would only be enforceable if it included all law enforcement. But let's let them continue.
On our conversations with the governor's office last year, includes local and federal law enforcement, but not state police officers. And so the court ruled that in order for the law to be fully enforceable, it needs to include all levels of law enforcement. So we removed state officers based on conversations with the governor's office last year. Today, I am introducing a new bill to reinsert, to include state law enforcement in the bill so that it'll apply to everyone, federal, state, local. And then under the court's ruling today, the law will be enforceable. The court was very clear that masking is not necessary for law enforcement. Masking is not necessary.
All right. So that clip right there shows exactly what equal protection has done or forced the courts to do. Now, I'm about to play a few clips who are not trying to follow that type of equal protection. They're just trying to go after ICE or keep ICE out of their cities and states. Let's go here. This is the governor of Oregon, Tina Kotek. And this is what she has to say. Shout out to our good brother, Beatzilla out there in Oregon.
Hello, Oregon. Governor Kotek here. I just wanted you to know that I'm sending a letter, along with mayors across Oregon, to Secretary Kristi Noem and ICE Director Tom Homan. We're calling for an immediate halt to federal immigration enforcement in Oregon until all use of force incidents across the country, including those in Minneapolis and Portland, are fully investigated and those responsible are held accountable. You know, when law enforcement uses unnecessary force, there must be full accountability. Instead, our federal government continues aggressive actions and rhetoric that undermines trust and puts people exercising their First Amendment rights at risk. And that's just not acceptable. So things need to change. The federal government needs to rebuild trust with Americans. What they're doing is making all of us less safe. Oregon will uphold our values and our sanctuary law and focus our resources on real public safety. And to our immigrant and refugee communities, hear this clearly. This is your home, and we stand with you. And to the Trump administration, this message is also clear. ICE activities must stop now until there is full accountability.
All right, that's that. Let's go here.
If you participated in cruel, baseless immigration enforcement, if you violated civil rights, ignored due process, or followed unlawful orders, you will not be welcomed in California's public workforce. If you participated in cruel, baseless immigration enforcement, if you violated civil rights, ignored due process, or followed unlawful orders, you will not be welcomed in California's public workforce.
Exciting news: the Board of Supervisors Rules Committee today, which voted unanimously to make San Francisco an ICE-free zone on city property for the first time. I'm here with Annie Lee from the Chinese for Affirmative Action, one of the collaborators and partners in this legislation. Tell us why this is important and what it means for San Francisco.
Well, Supervisor McMahon, thank you so much for introducing this legislation. So this legislation would protect city property, including city hall, city parking lots, from being commandeered and used in a way that doesn't align with city purposes. This is so important in San Francisco because federal immigration enforcement is not a city purpose. So we're protecting our public spaces from that. And in San Francisco, we've got rich, vibrant immigrant communities everywhere. And so folks in our city really need city leaders like Supervisor Mahmood to step up and protect us, especially now. And so that's why this legislation is so important, and we're excited to see it move forward.
Thank you, Annie. And this is really about rebuilding trust with those immigrant communities in San Francisco. It's going to ensure that city property cannot be commandeered by any federal agency or external party. It's going to ensure the city attorney is authorized to take action against entities that violate city purpose, and that we take disciplinary action against any employee that collaborates with ICE as well. In turn, this is going to be a Bay Area-wide approach. Other cities and counties across the Bay Area have actually replicated this framework already, and ensures that we take a regional approach to a national problem and protect all San Franciscans in this time.
Thank you.
Shout out to our sister Brooklyn Queen in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for your super sticker. Your donation is blessed tenfold. And I appreciate your contribution as always, my sister. And lastly, let's go here.
Good morning. Look, Donald Trump knows he's going to lose the midterms. He knows it. That's why he's started this mess in the first place. I tried to tell you all that. First he calls Texas, give me more seats. Then that's not enough. So he calls North Carolina, Missouri, Ohio. I need more. Today we are leveling the playing field. These are not ordinary times, and Virginia will not sit on the sidelines while it happens. We made a promise to level the playing field, and today we're keeping our promise. Our maps are ready, Virginia's ready. We said 10-1, and we meant it. And we are proud to deliver a map that stands up for democracy, to stand up for Virginians, to stand up and give us a voice. He started this mess, and Virginia's going to finish it.
Virginia to the rescue. Senator Lucas said it best. We've been working really hard to make sure that we got this delivered. It's about leveling the playing field across the country. Republicans are gerrymandering now to override the will of the voters. We just saw it in Texas, North Carolina, and Missouri. At Donald Trump's direction, they're manipulating election maps because they know they can't win on their agenda in 2026. So instead of changing their ideas, they're trying to break the system. A 10-1 map levels the playing field, and we're ready to move forward. They will make good on our promise by releasing the map publicly. We're going to get them released either by the end of the day or early tomorrow. We'll get those maps released. Put them out in the open and allow them to be debated the way they should be in a democracy. We're going to leave it up to Virginia voters. The maps are ready. Virginia's ready. And as my senator said many times, 10-1. 10-1. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
All right, family. So, these folks may think that they're going to be passing these laws into effect. These folks, and I agree here. Shout out to First Class Citizen. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution once again, family. All sanctuary cities are illegal. I agree with that. And the law would agree with that too. But like I said, they keep on evading it by saying we don't have to enforce federal law. which the Constitution does state. The powers of the state and the federal are two different things, and the sovereignty of the state is still a constitutional sounded situation. However, that's where they get their loophole from. That's where they get their loophole. And that's why we need attorneys who are willing to get out there and actually argue not the fact that it isn't fair, but argue the fact that it isn't constitutionally sound. It isn't equal, right? So, yeah, we definitely need more people out there to do this. However, these folks think that they're going to create these laws. But to tell you the truth, like Gavin Newsom, he said he signed a law in the state, a bill into office that says that they have to wear a mask, and this is before it was challenged or whatever. And the police said, "Hey, we're not going to enforce that. We're not going to enforce." Law enforcement try to enforce the law on another law enforcement agency that isn't really a law. This is something so small and meager. We are not going to do that. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see more people saying that, more law enforcement saying, "Hey, we're not going to be enforcing this law that the state is trying to put in because it makes no sense to enforce." Let's go here, family.
Be signing a bill, the first in the nation, saying enough. ICE, unmask.
A few moments later.
Well, this new law, which bans federal officers from wearing these masks, went into effect January 1st. LAPD Chief Jim McDonald said his department will not be enforcing this ban.
The reality of one armed agency approaching another armed agency to create conflict over something that would be a misdemeanor at best or an infraction, it doesn't make any sense.
I'll be signing a
So he got his own law enforcement saying, "Yeah, we ain't going to be enforcing that." Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to enforce it. One armed agency going after another armed agency for something that would equate to an infraction or a misdemeanor, that makes absolutely no sense. And it doesn't. And it doesn't. So shout out to him. Shout out to the big black guy. Thank you for your Cash App donation. Excuse me. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother. Looks like you got something in the message box here. Give me a second. Vote no on Democrats. Love that. Yes, vote no when it comes to Democrats. Let's do that. And also shout out once again to First Class Citizen. Thank you once again for this super chat. Excuse me. Your super chat is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. And also, federal law super exceeds state law, and you're absolutely correct. Federal law does super exceed state law. The problem is the state still don't have to enforce the laws put on the books by the federal government, and that's why marijuana is illegal federally, but state-wise, the states are able to have these dispensaries and things like that, these marijuana industries, because they put the laws on their books that it is legal. So to be honest with you, even the dispensaries is in a gray area, because even though it's legal state-wise, the feds can come and kick in your door any damn day and arrest everybody in there for breaking federal law. That's how that works. Now, the state law can't kick in the doors because it's legal state-wise, but the federal can kick in those doors and take everybody in that bitch in. So even though the federal law exceeds the state law, the state can say, well, we choose not to enforce that law. That's where the problem comes in. But shout out to you and thank you for your donation, family. Let's get over here because I want to get into some of the campaigning that's been going on. But first, I want you to remember that these people want you to believe that it was much better under Joe Biden. And Joe Biden should still be president. Let's go here.
Teased a major announcement for tomorrow on Thursday. She reactivated her Kamala HQ social media pages. Those were her campaign social media pages. We have no idea what this is about. We'll have to see tomorrow. Some think it's her announcement to run for president. It could be something else. But there is still a way for Kamala Harris to become the president of the United States. And here's how it could work. As it stands now, assuming the Democrats sweep the 3 existing vacancies and the new ones, they would need 5 Republicans to resign from the House, and then Democrats could take control. Technically, Kamala Harris could be named and voted in as Speaker of the House. It doesn't require it to be an elected official. She could be named Speaker. Democrats could then move forward with impeachment proceedings of both President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. If they are both impeached and removed, then the Presidential Succession Act says that the Speaker of the House would then become president. If that were Kamala Harris, it could be her. This is a path for her becoming.
Now, like I said, these people are really, they want you to know who should still be president, and they're really excited. This HQ nonsense that they're talking about. Let's go here.
So I'm skeptical. I'm on the record as skeptical. That doesn't mean she's not going to run. I'm pretty sure she doesn't listen to me. But I continue to believe that her best day as a candidate, if she does run in 2028, is her first day as a candidate. I didn't even mention the fact that she'll have to answer for all of the issues that Democrats and Republicans have with the Biden years. She'll have to answer for why did she not speak out sooner or know more or pay more attention to Joe Biden's declining condition health-wise while he was in office as he aged. I just think it's too much a remnant of the past when you combine that with the fact that she has not demonstrated an ability to be a really inspiring candidate, build a really good organization, appeal to people who are not already within the Democratic base. I don't think it's going anywhere, but she's clearly not listening to me, because this step with headquarters and trying to appeal and organize young people to the Democratic Party seems to me a clear step that she's continuing to move closer and closer to a bid. So I'm skeptical. I'm on the record as skeptical. That doesn't mean she's not going to run. I'm pretty sure she doesn't listen to me. But I continue to believe that her best day as a candidate, if she does run in 2028, is her first day as a candidate. I didn't even mention the fact that she'll have to answer for all of the issues that Democrats and Republicans have with the Biden years. She'll have to answer for why did she not speak out sooner or know more or pay more attention to Joe Biden's declining condition health-wise while he was in office as he aged. I just think it's too much a remnant of the past when you combine that with the fact that she has not demonstrated an ability to be a really inspiring candidate, build a really good organization, appeal to people who are not already within the Democratic base. I don't think it's going anywhere, but she's clearly not listening to me, because this step with headquarters and trying to appeal and organize young people to the Democratic Party seems to me a clear step that she's continuing to move closer and closer to a bid. So I'm skeptical.
So that's that, family. And shout out to Honey Brown Sugar, who says the House passes the SAVE Act bill, new voter ID proof requirements. And now it goes to the Senate. And if it passes the Senate, then it hits the president's desk. And then if it hits the president's desk, we'll have new voter laws, to be honest. Shout out to First Class Citizen once again for this super chat. Oh, shit. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. She's too busy washing greens in the toilet. Oh, man. She did upgrade it from the bathtub to the toilet, I see. Let's go here, family.
Madam Vice President, what's going on with Kamala HQ?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. I have good news. So Kamala HQ is turning into headquarters, and it's where you can go online to get basically the latest of what's going on, and also to meet and revisit with some of our great courageous leaders, be they elected leaders, community leaders, civic leaders, faith leaders, young leaders. I'm really excited about it. So stay engaged, and I'll see you out there. Thank you.
Madam Vice President.
Family, do you think that this is just a place where you can get information, or is she trying to garner more viewership to that location so that when she inevitably says that she's going to be running for whatever she's going to be running for, that then everything is already at one location? Everybody already got eyes on that. That's how I see it. Shout out to our brother William once again for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother. Gruesome Newsom got white supremacy giving tickets to white supremacy. Oh my God. Oh, good point. Good point. Shout out to our brother Antithesis once again. He said she got on a Crown Blackberry outfit. She got on a Crown Royal bag. That is cold beans. Oh, man. Shout out to Snatch Adams once again for your Cashapp, your super chat donation. Your super chat is blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contribution as always, family. Call those twice curry greens. Oh man. Hey, that Crown Royal bag that she got on though, man, I like that took me back. My grandfather used to collect those bags and put his dominoes in them. So when you said that, that was the first thing I thought about. That is cold beans. Oh, let's go here, family.
By the way, the handle they're using, you can see there, we're zooming in on it, at headquarters_67. 67, as the kids used to say. Well, used to say a lot of things. And I think they also used to say, that's probably cringe.
Oh, it's definitely cringe. It is 100% cringe. And then once she gets this all, I'm pretty sure all followed up, you get all the people that you want to follow you, following you. This is going to change from HQ to Kamala for president. I can see that happening. Yeah, but spot of the Crown Royal bag, I'm telling you, that right there, that threw me for a loop right there. That was a good one. So James Cargill is out there saying, hey, Kamala, she could just forget it. She can forget it. This isn't Kamala's fight anymore. Shout out, hello, much love to you. Thank you for being here, as well as our good brother Leonardo Yuda in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Rosemary saying, hangover games, the bottle of the crack. Not the hangover games. Oh, that's good. That is good. Let's go hear what James Cargill had to say.
Who's the Democrat that you see who can carry the flag into 2028? Kamala Harris?
No.
AOC?
No.
Rahm Emanuel?
To win the Democratic nomination, you have to ask yourself two really important questions. One, can you raise a lot of early money? The second question you have to ask yourself, who can walk into a black fish fry in South Carolina, a black church? Now, they can be nice. They're very polite people.
Yeah.
But who is going to get them to hum and sway? Who can walk into a black fish fry in South Carolina, a black church? Now, they can be nice. They're very polite people.
Yeah.
But who is going to get them to hum and sway? Who can walk into a black fish fry in South Carolina, a black church? Now, they can be nice. They're very polite people.
Family, Skeletor is over here telling you the quiet part out loud. Who can go into a black church and get them to hum and sway? That is the game plan, and that has been the game plan for the Democratic Party for decades. Who can go into the black church and get them to hum and sway? Do you guys see why the black church don't have the significance that it used to have? When we were in the black church setting up different protests and setting up different acts of civil disobedience, when we were using the black church as an institution, we can't use the church as a black institution anymore because the church is allowing people to come in and get them to hum and sway. But watch who he says could go into the church and get them to hum and sway.
Yeah.
But who is going to get them to hum and sway? If I had to say one guy, if I were like betting the Kentucky Derby and I saw this 12-1 horse and I said, yeah, I want to get a price, I'd take J.B. Pritzker.
Family. Skeletor just said that J.B. Pritzker, J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Chicago, the governor of Illinois, can go into a black church and get the people to sway and hum. J.B. Pritzker, the man who has been fighting for illegals in Illinois, the man who is fighting Donald Trump to keep the illegals in Illinois, he said that he could go into a black church and get them to sway and hum. Family, this is how they think about you. They think about you as a vote and a vote alone. How can we manipulate these niggers to give us that vote? How can we get these niggas to sway and hum? And they think J.B. Pritzker is going to be the man to do it. Okay. Shout out to William once again for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother. He would have done better to say Bad Bunny. Oh, man. Shout out to First Class Citizen once again for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contribution as always, family. Fred Flintstone has no chance. You do better saying Barney Rubble. I saw somebody put in the chat a few seconds ago. Hold on. Shout out to Snatch Adams. He'd have been better off saying Chelsea Clinton. And I don't think no Clinton been saying getting up in there. But if you're talking versus JB Pritzker, yeah, you probably should have said Chelsea Clinton. Now, I wouldn't vote for her either, but if we're going to compare apples to apples, apples to oranges, of course, then, hey, yeah, go ahead with Chelsea over goddamn JB. Chelsea ain't been around to be allowing the illegals to be doing what they're doing. But yet, JB was. And how much money was his hotel industry, his family hotel, how much money were they getting for, housing illegal migrants? Illegal aliens. How much money was his family getting from those NGOs? Just a question, but continue.
Really? Why?
Well,
Not Kamala Harris? She's black.
She has no chance.
Why not?
Because no Democrat.
First off, she's black. No, she's not. We're not going to do that again.
Wants anything to do with anybody that had anything to do with 2024.
She's black.
She has no chance.
Why not?
Because
Harris? She's black.
She has no chance.
Why not?
Because no Democrat wants anything to do with anybody that had anything to do with 2024.
So Kamala Harris can't get the black community to sway and hum?
No, cannot. No. And the other thing is, and this is the best news for Democrats that the party can possibly.
Now tell me that he's lying there. So Kamala Harris can't get the black community to sway and hum. He said no. And it's true because she didn't get us to sway and hum in 2024. She didn't get us to sway and hum in 2020. She didn't get us to sway and hum whatsoever. So yeah, I agree with him there. Kamala Harris definitely wouldn't be the one if you're talking about getting the people to sway and hum. But that swaying and humming in the grassroots is over. Notice he said go into a church and get them to sway and hum because he know he can't bring nobody to the streets to get us to sway and hum. But go ahead.
We have.
Yeah.
Just win. They don't. If we nominate 2 white males, no one's going to give a shit.
Well, if you nominate 2 black males who practice LGBTQ and want to stand for illegals and all this other nonsense, nobody would give a shit either. But family, it's time that we talk about the snuffleupagus of the Democratic Party. And you know who I mean, and you know who I'm talking about.
Brain fried, scrambled like eggs in a skillet. Thoughts running loose, can't even pin it. Opinion spilling, nonsense offended. Logic took a vacation, she ain't in it. Caught in the fog, lost in the static. Ideas chaotic, vibes erratic. Speeches, gymnastics, flips, acrobatic. Words land hard, awkward, and tragic. Dumber than a box of Crockets. Lost keys, no pockets. Talking loud, no logic. Every thought catastrophic. Dumber than a box of Crockets. Every move out of pocket.
Who said? Ayo said, "Oh, Tatiana." Oh, and since Angelic put it in the chat, you know what we gotta do.
Send in the clowns.
Let's get over here.
The system is broken. Our communities are being terrorized. People are hurting. But Texas has a warrior who's fighting back. A champion for us, our votes, our rights. It drives the president crazy. So they tried to draw her out of Congress because they thought it would take away our power. They were wrong.
I'm Jasmine Crockett, and I approve this message.
Family, that... Hold on. This commercial aired during the Super Bowl. Apparently, a friend of mine sent this to me. He was like, "Did you see this shit?" And I was like, "Hell no." My friend told me like this. He said, "Man, it is so sad. Wait till you see the end." She AI'd herself with a bunch of people standing behind her like she got support. And what do we see here? This whole goddamn commercial is AI. Are they reading the room, family? Let's run that back one more time. Hold on to your dinner.
The system is broken. Our communities are being terrorized. People are hurting. But Texas has a warrior who's fighting back. A champion for us, our votes, our rights. It drives the president crazy. So they tried to draw her out of Congress because they thought it would take away our power. They were wrong.
I'm Jasmine Crockett, and I approve this message.
Family, this is desperation. And it's delusion at the same time. Desperation and delusion, D&D. And I ain't talking about Dungeons and Dragons. That's what this is. Desperation and delusion. That's a damn shame. Shout out to Kid Gravity once again. They do not want to save America. They just want to be famous. Apparently, she has been endorsed by the Congressional Black Caucus PAC. So she's feeling good about herself, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the same Congressional Black Caucus that don't do nothing for foundational Black Americans, that stand for everybody else, but refuse to stand for us. And they're supposed to be representing our party, supposed to be representing our people, excuse me. Yeah, they endorse Jasmine Crockett. Do you see why nobody's really upset? While Roland's running around here talking about they can, with one swipe, they can get rid of 30 congressional seats. We don't care. Good. Get them out of here, coach, because of shit like this. We do not care. I hope more seats get taken. Damn 30. Let's do 50. Get them all up out of here. Now, this is what Jasmine is going around doing. She's going from location to location, thinking that she's going to garner some votes. But listen to how she talked about Texas voters.
There are those that have their own motivations for critiquing. And, I think that the people
Is it just racism and sexism? Like, what do you think it is?
I mean, I think there's a lot of things. I think it depends on who it's coming from. But I've been a Black woman my whole life. So this idea that I'm going to go and be like, oh, well, they're being racist or misogynistic towards me. Like, you think I didn't know I was a Black woman when I woke up and decided that I was going to run for the United States Senate?
Mm-hmm.
You think I didn't factor in and make sure that we had enough room to account for that? We did. There are those.
So the very same people that she wants to vote for her, the very same people that she wants to garner votes from, she's out here calling sexist and racist, misogynistic and racist. Now, Texas is full of both. Don't get me wrong. My point is, you're over here trying to garner votes in the way that goddamn Obama tried to force Black men to go vote for Kamala. You think that that's going to turn out well for anybody? No. Especially you. Especially you. And there was another part of this interview, and I thought I included the clip, but apparently I didn't. There was another part of this interview where she was basically saying it's okay to lie about who's in the Epstein files as long as it hurts Donald Trump. As long as he asked her, do you think that the rhetoric that you guys are pushing is going too far? She says no. Especially with the current administration. No, we can keep it going. So this is where this woman's head is. She's an outright liar. She's a manipulator. And I believe she's Haitian. I'm getting a little bit more information from the family. You know what I'm saying? That her family is Haitian. So I am doing my due diligence. I'm not saying that she is just yet, but I am looking into it. And if I find anything of Haitian descent in her background, I will be sure to let each and every one of y'all know. Shout out to our sister Brooke. Get them out of here, coach. And not just that. Since my sister Brooke is in the building, I would like my sister, if you can you please put that link into the chat so our brothers and sisters can send more delineation letters out, because we need to make sure that's going out as much as possible. And why our good sister is doing that, while our good sister is doing that, shout out to our brother Black Truth United and our brother Greg Marcel Dixon, as well as our sister Brooke. Once again, we're going to take a short non-commercial break, and then we're going to come back and finish this off.
Introducing the B1 Rolodex, the easiest way to search for and support FBA and B1 businesses. Hundreds of entries from the Black grassroots for the Black grassroots. Free to use, free to download, constantly updated. Trouble navigating the document? Try using the map version. Notice a business missing? Use this simple Google form to submit an FBA or B1 business. Also submit anti-Black businesses, which are now being collected in that last tab. Find resources, contact numbers, and much more using the second tab. All the info you need to start practicing group economics today. Go to blacktruthunited.com. That's blacktruthunited.com.
They say doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. I say it's stupidity. We as Black Americans have been voting for the Democrats with over 90% of our votes going to them for the past 60 years. And what do we have to show for it? I'll tell you, we are 15 to 20% of the population, but nearly 60% of the homeless. We have aborted over 20 million of our Black babies. Our wealth is heading backwards, and we own less homes now than we did during Jim Crow. I'm not saying vote for the Republicans. I'm saying don't vote for any party. Vote for good policies. If anyone comes to us and they ask for or demand the black vote, you tell them to show me your black policies.
I am Greg Marcel Dixon, and I approve this message.
Evenmelanin.com. New healthier glass bottles. No microplastic can't be wrong. Smooth and even, let the glow begin. Melanin, age with grace at Even Melanin. Melanin, radiant skin where beauty's from within. Melanin, feel the love with Even Melanin. Evenmelanin.com.
And shout out to our sister Brooke. I am so happy to hear that you guys picked up another senator. That means that everything that the family is doing is working. So keep sending those letters, family. Get your family to send those letters. Get your friends, get your family's family, and all that. Get your dog and your cats to send these letters out too. We got delineation on the board. Let's make sure that it works out. You dig what I'm saying? But let's move forward on this here. We are not out here. And so you got other people out there right now, not only pushing to stop the deportation for the Haitians. You know, Jasmine Crockpot might be, you know what I'm saying? That might be her lineage. They're trying to stop the deportations for the Haitians, but not just that. They're out here screaming reparations for the Haitians. Oh, yeah. No. We putting a stop to all of this today. Let's go.
Up with reparations. Up with reparations. Down with deportation. Down with deportation. Up with reparations. Up with reparations. Down with deportation. Down with deportation.
Family, I promise you, I'm glad I was not there. I would have had to snatch this man's Velcro, his Velcro beard right off his face. How dare you? How goddamn dare you? Up with reparations, down with deportation. Reparations for whom? A bunch of people that shouldn't be in the country to begin with? This makes no sense. And these people think that we're going to vote them back into office. These people think that we're going to make sure that they're good so that they can make sure everybody else is good. No, buddy. I ain't never seen none of y'all walking down the street talking about up with reparations. Down with race soldiers or anything like that. I've never heard it. The Democratic Party put out a notice that said, we do not support reparations as a policy. But yet you guys are out here stomping for illegals, talking about up with reparations, down with deportations. Oh, that is a fantastic point, my sister. While the writer of the unconstitutional bill for reparations in New York is Haitian. And this is what I'm talking about. This is just a blatant disrespect. The blatant disrespect. Some people, you kind of feel like they need to be slapped across the face and just ask them, what the hell is wrong with you? But in the Democratic Party, I feel like everybody needs to be slapped across the face and shaken by the shoulders and say, what the hell is wrong with you guys? Does it seem like they're reading the room, family? Do it seem like these people are grasping what's really going on in America? No, it doesn't. And they continue to push their nonsense while trying to steal what we've been fighting for here in America. Something that's owed to our people, a debt that's been owed. But when you do talk about reparations, it's for other people. Like I said, these people, they're not reading the room. And not only are they not reading the room, they're spitting in people's faces as they don't read the room. They're walking into people's rooms. They're not surveying it, seeing what's going on or anything like that. They're just walking in with their head held high with blinders on, just spitting left and right. Patooey, 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 patooey. This is what's happening. And they think that we should be running to the polls to vote for them. They think that we should be supporting them in their anti-Black agenda. Family, all of this is getting shut down. All of it. Because none of these people have our experiences. None of these people have done what we've done here. None of these people deserve a fraction of what we deserve in this country. And we're not going to sit here and pretend like it's okay to give some of our clout to a group of people who have been out here quite literally working against our interests. And when you look back in the day, because they love to say, oh, well, you know, it was Black immigrants as well being tortured by the KKK. It was Black immigrants as well that had to deal with the shenanigans and the chicanery of the government. I'm about to play a clip of Black immigrants letting you know, no, we don't see any problem. These Black immigrants were asked about their experience in racism and segregation during the Jim Crow era. And listen to what these guys had to say.
Any experiences with segregation here in this country?
Well, I've just got something quite insignificant. You know, people get to know that I'm a foreigner, and so they treat me differently. When I came at first, I tried to get an American haircut, appeared in American clothes as best as possible and as much as possible, just for people to discriminate against me. And I've never had such an occasion. I've been trying to get it, but I mean, it seems as if I've been getting the best, actually.
You met segregation at all here?
I've not met it. I think they must be pretty lucky, because I've been looking forward to get this segregation against me, but have not got it yet. It's an irony that the South African will get it and I wouldn't get it myself.
Any experiences with
A B1 salute the first class citizen. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. The narrative of the 92%ers supported the Democrat is a lie. It absolutely is. We broke that down several times. They're talking about out of percentages of a percentage, you know. So shout out to you for that. And then shout out to you once again for this super chat. Your donation on this one also is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution. Got to unelect every tether out of our politics, and I'm with you 100% fold on that, with no other thing to say about that. You got my full agreement in that. We need to get all of them out, because if not, all they're doing is making a pathway for the next tether to come on in and take their place. But if you listen to what these guys were saying, one of them said that, shoot, I went to America looking for the segregation and it never hit me. It never touched me. The other one said they hear my voice as a foreigner. They know I'm a foreigner and they treat me a lot differently. So what is this Jim Crow nonsense that all these Democrats are running around acting like the illegals are suffering from at this point in time? What the hell, god dang, Chuck Schumer talking about? Why is this man walking down the street talking about up with reparations and down with deportations? These folks do not have a sensible cell in their brain. Let's go here, family. I want to also show you not just the immigrants of color, immigrants of the mops of color. Let's go over here to this Asian dude here, because like I said, for the most part, these folks, and I have shown you this on this very channel several times over. I done showed you a senator candidate. I done showed you a sitting Congress member. I done showed you a goddamn Nabisco online saying it, and now once again they're saying the quiet part out loud. The real reason why they hate ICE, the real reason why they're so mad at us, the real reason why they're so mad at ICE. This Asian man gets his dumb ass up on stage and tried to make a quote unquote joke that really isn't no joke at all. And he explains to you once again their problem with this ICE situation going on and the deportations. Let's go here.
Bad kind that enters your home without a warrant. Bad kind that enters your home without a warrant. My only problem with ICE is that they're going after every minority group except black people. Only problem with ICE is that they're going after every minority group except black people. Only problem with ICE is that they're going after every minority group except black people. I mean, you're trying to reduce crime. You're just giving them more room to breathe. But I understand. Can you imagine the shape you have to be in to deport black people? Yeah, I'm actually training for the 3-gun competition right now. Bad kind that enters your home.
All right, number one. To all the black folks that's sitting on stage who are judging, or the black band and all this other stuff, I get that you don't want to mess up your money in the back because you're just a part of the band. You're paid to be there, and you don't want to mess up your funds. I get it. I'm one of those type of people that probably would have messed up my funds because I would have stood up and I would have took the whole microphone out of his hands and threw it into the crowd, or took the cord out of the microphone. How dare you disrespect us like that? Number one, you want to talk about criminality? No. Let's back it up. First and foremost, like he said, his only problem is the fact that we're not getting deported. His only problem is that ICE is going after everybody except black people. Why? Because we are non-deportables. We're the only non-deportables. So they're upset. They're pissed the hell off because they thought this was going to be us. They thought the illegals out there getting harassed and the people, the Nabiscos out there getting harassed, and anybody who wants to go out there and stand for the illegals getting harassed, they thought it would be us. They thought that it would be us to get the impression. They thought it would be us to get snatched up, tossed on the ground, unalived, wherever. They thought that we were the immigrants. And they found out that we are not. They thought that America belonged to the Nabisco man and he was the only non-immigrant here. And yeah, the fact of the matter is, no, that isn't the case. The only non-immigrant is the very people that you're pissed off at because we can't be deported. You goddamn slanted-eyed bastard. Now, second of all, you want to talk about criminality. You look Korean. Let's not talk about the Korean massage parlors. Let's not talk about all the sex trafficking. Let's not talk about all the Asians that came over here during the years of Biden that got caught up for working on weed farms as illegals, who got caught up in sex trafficking as illegals. You want to talk about crime? Black folks don't have a mafia like your community has. Your whole community operates in a way where you all are participating in crime and you're keeping your mouth closed on the crime because you don't want to be attacked by the mafia in your community. You want to talk about crime when most of your businesses are front groups for money laundering? You want to talk about crime? These people have shown everyone and anyone who thought that we were doing too much with delineation All you got to do is just stop and listen. I see y'all putting it in the chat. Fentanyl, 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 fentanyl. Triads, fentanyl. These people can't talk to us about criminality whatsoever. And as JMV Entertainment states, delineation is working because we're able to see everybody. All you got to do is close your mouth and listen. All you got to do is say no and listen. Everybody that hates the fact that we're saying no, they're out here telling you the truth. They tell you what they think about you. They're telling you that you should be getting deported too. We're the model minority. We're getting deported. I thought black people would be getting deported. I'll say y'all trying to get rid of the criminals when you're just exasperating the criminality. And they wonder why we're not taking any of this shit. Shout out to our good brother Donnie on timeout. Let's hear what he had to say about this.
My only problem with ICE is that they're going after every minority group except black people. I mean, you're trying to reduce crime. You're just giving them more room to breathe. But I understand. Can you imagine the shape you have to be in to deport black people?
Did y'all feel all that hate? That was not a joke. That was just hate, because there's nothing funny about wishing harm on another community. It's nothing funny to wish that harm comes to another community. The Black Americans in the audience were not laughing, and this man clearly is not living up to his stereotype of being smart, because there's no such thing as an undocumented Black American. Black Americans cannot be deported. And he want to talk about crime. Let's talk about the massage parlors, right? All that human trafficking, all that smex trafficking. Where do you think the terms came from? Me love you long time. Human trafficking, smex trafficking, maybe ICE need to pay K-Town a visit. Maybe ICE need to pay Chinatown a visit, because I'm pretty sure they could save a lot of kidnapped women, a lot of women that's being trafficked from these industries. So it's funny how, nobody wish harm. The Black American community never wish harm on another community, but the hate is always out there towards Black Americans. No one's even thinking about Asians, right? And you have this joke. What about the ICE jokes? The people who's rounding people up, right? Then Trump said like 80% of ICE agents was like Latino or something like that. What about the jokes towards the Latino community that's actually rounding y'all up, right? Man, the hate is real. There's no allies.
Family, with that being said, I want to make sure everybody hear me very clear when I state this. It is time to make these people pay once again. It is time to put these people on punishment. It is time to make sure these people get punished for their crimes against foundational Black Americans, the atrocities that they've been promoting against us, and the erasure that they've been promoting against us as well. It is time. And they're showing you all that they don't give a damn about what we've been saying. They're showing you all that they don't give a damn about how we are making them crash out left and right. And we're telling them, hey, you're going to do it again in 2026. You keep on with this. We're going to be sitting out 2026 as well. And also, we're going to be sitting out 2028 as well. Because if we do not punish them, you're going to have a situation like how you have in New York City, where people who voted for that Mandami guy, that salami guy, are basically suffering from what we call today as buyer's remorse. Let's go here, family.
This is the life.
Oh, let me mute that. Day 6. This is trash day. 6 days after New York's snowstorm. So apparently this is what New York was looking like. And our sister Brooke is in the building. She can let us know if it's true. But apparently this is the situation that was going on. Let's go here to what this sister had to say.
Mayor Mandani, the Bronx is horrible. It's a mess over here. You can't get to all streets, but you need to get to some over here in the Bronx. It's a fucking mess. Mayor Mandani, the Bronx is horrible. It's a mess over here. You can't get to all streets, but you need to get to some over here in the Bronx. It's a fucking mess.
All right. Let's go here.
Anyone shocked by this? Kami Mamdani is going to ban ICE from going into Rikers Island and removing criminal illegal aliens. Wrap your head around this. He is going to stop immigration enforcement from going into prison where there are criminal illegal aliens and stopping them from removing the criminals from this country. They hate ICE and Trump and the Republicans so much that they're willing to protect literal criminals that are not even American. This country, actually New York City, is headed for one of the greatest downfalls. And if you know how bad Rikers Island is, you would want that thing emptied out. You want as many criminals removed from that prison and this country as soon as possible. But this communist, is protecting the worst of the worst and putting the American people in danger because those people in Rikers will most likely be released. Guarantee you.
All right. So he's trying to shut ICE out from Rikers, even though Eric Adams had just opened up Rikers to ICE. So you know where his priorities lie. And now other people who voted for him are mad at him because, the price in transportation has rose up. Let's go here. I ain't never seen an ominous tether, but God dang it, today we get to see an ominous tether. I had never seen a tether that looked like a supervillain this much. But God dang it, let New York show you. New York got it all. Let's go here.
He lied. He lied big time. He lied big time. Subway fare increases to $3. I thought shit was going to be free. I thought the buses was going to be free. I thought the trains was going to be free. He lied. The trains have officially started today, and they done spiked the fare and bus to $3. You son of a bitch. You tricked us and played us all. We all knew it. A lot of us knew it. But the people, he's giving everybody free this. Everything's going to be free. Everything's going to be good. He's dancing with you. He's partying with you. He's acting like you. And he fooled you and tricked you. You thought he cared about you. He never did. He used you to capitalize off of the biggest city in the world, the Big Apple. And he's about to rob it and bank off of it like a motherfucker and put his people on the map while the American people suffer. And as for NYPD, a lot of rookies, soon, all of them is going. It's about to be real fucking bad. And you already seeing the glimpses of it.
It costs $100 a week for me to work in New York City. As of January 5th, the MTA has raised the one-way fare to $3, and the Long Island Railroad has raised the peak fare to $7.25. That means for me, one way, so just getting to work, costs $10 because I take the Long Island Railroad and then I transfer to an MTA subway train. That means that for one day, it costs $20 to get to and from work. That is just the commute. That's not lunch. That's not me wanting to do a little coffee in the morning. That is simply just to get from my home to the office building. That means that for 5 days in office, it would cost $100 just for me to work. Do you know what that means for the month? Do you know what that means for the year? This is not a hypothetical, and this is not a cost that I can offset. I have to go into the office. People have to go into work. And you're making it this expensive for people to just get there. Long gone are the days of just don't buy your Starbucks in the morning. Don't buy lunch at work. Just getting there is more expensive than anything else. The joke of it costing $100 just to breathe in New York City is no longer a joke.
You might not like the truth, but I'll never tell a lie. Just 1 week after officially being sworn in as mayor of New York City, and after promising free everything, New Yorkers woke up to a fare hike at the MTA. What happened to those free buses? It's almost like the mayor of New York has no say on MTA fares, seeing as how that's the governor's job and not the mayor's. Y'all are cooked. I also find it hilarious that Democrats like AOC, Elon Omar, and Don Lemon want to try to convince you that white man bad, but yet go home and write on that pink Laffy Taffy. This is how you know that they're full of shit. But I have a rebuttal to the Democrats. My rebuttal is this. America's biggest threat is not the white conservative man. No. America's biggest threat is the white liberal woman. They are cancer to our society. Case in point, Mamdani's fresh pick as housing director, Sia Weaver. Let's hear what this dumb communist bitch has to say.
I think the reality is that for centuries, we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and transitioning to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity will require that we think about it differently, and it will mean that families, especially white families, but some POC families who are homeowners as well, are going to have a different relationship to property than the one that we currently have.
I don't fucking think so, bitch. Collective goods is communist talk for government theft. Now, I have a question for you, Sia. Does it apply to your parents, Stuart Weaver, who's a landlord who owns multiple rental properties, and one of them you manage? Is your white father's properties part of the collective as well? New Yorkers want to know. To me, the craziest part about these white liberal women is the fact that they forget that they're white. They're out here saying home ownership is white supremacy, yet she and her parents don't mind cashing in. This is not progress. This is communism in full force. Take what's yours while we hoard ours. America, you better wake up. This country was founded on individualism. Your sweat, your hard-earned land, and your unalienable freedom. No handouts and no apologies. This here is a spineless collective nightmare where the state takes your shit and redistributes it to everybody else who didn't work for it. Almost like the trans community claiming shit that was never theirs. I know facts. This is not Cuba and this is not Venezuela or some failed socialist experiment where your property vanishes into the abyss. But we do have an ironclad shield called the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. And since liberals love their due process, in order to take somebody's property, due process and rightful compensation must be applied before anybody puts their hands on your property. It completely blocks these fools under the vision of America's founders, that government exists to protect your rights and not take them away. One last thing, when the president said that Mamdani was the best thing to happen to the Republican Party, he's right, because as a New Yorker myself, someone who was born and raised in New York City, lived there for 30 years, true New Yorkers are not gonna let this shit slide. I give it less than a year before New Yorkers hit the street wanting Mamdani out. And when I said the president's popularity is skyrocketing, I can already hear New Yorkers asking President Trump for help now. But I wanna hear from you guys. Is what Sia proposing part of the collective, or is it just straight up communism? Let me know in the comments below. And as
Yep, it's communism. We already know. Shout out to our good brother Black Truth. Excuse me, not Black Truth, but shout out to him too. Shout out to our brother Black RU. Much love to you. He's a welcome to America. Exactly. And also, let me give you a B1 salute for your Cash App donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother, as well as Melvina Miles in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your PayPal donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always to my family. Now, family, I saw somebody putting in the chat, all this is happening because Mamdani don't care, and he doesn't care. You know, somebody actually died. A few people died out in the cold, out in that snow. And do you know this dude did a press conference and he laughed about, he was telling jokes before he got out there and actually did before he said what he had to say about the persons who lost their lives, he was telling jokes. Let's go here.
This is Glomar. You see how this lady can't even barely get across the street because y'all want to shovel the snow wrong? Because they wrong. Why would they shovel it like this?
How do disabled people travel in the snow in New York City? Because chances are they don't. I was just privileged enough to have my boyfriend help me yesterday. I had to go into work for a grant proposal, and no one was forcing me to go, and it's okay, don't worry. For the most part, we had to stay in the street because the sidewalks were just not safe. And thankfully, my boyfriend was there to push me through the snow, but without him, I would have been housebound this whole week. Even for Accessoride, my boyfriend and the driver had to physically pick up my wheelchair and place it onto the lift so I could get in the van because the lift wasn't landing properly with all that snow on the side of the road. I also couldn't push myself because my rims were covered in ice.
I can't lie. The disdain that the city had this year for not shoveling like the corners and the crosswalks. Like, as a mother with a young child in a stroller, if nobody told y'all yet, y'all some idiots.
So it's been 1 week since the big snowfall in New York City, and we still have sidewalks that look like this. Now, I'm not sure how logistically hard it is to properly clean the crosswalks, but I mean, does it take like community action for people to clean their own sidewalks? I'm just thinking about people in wheelchairs or people with strollers. They can't even get from the sidewalk to the street.
Now, New York, we need to do better. Because why am I sitting here every time I gotta cross the street? I gotta hop over a hurdle of fucking snow to cross the street. Like, the fuck? We need to do better. I'm not an Olympian. It's too cold. I'm out of breath. We need to figure this shit out. Now.
Very heart of it, New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep.
Get out, okay. Get out, okay. That's good. Get out of here. All right, okay. Where are these guys going? Hey, come on. Hey. Get out, okay. That's good. Get out of here. All right, okay. I guess a few people will pay to come up to see this viewing site. As of this morning, 16 of our fellow New Yorkers have passed away outside during this brutal stretch of cold. We are continuing to do everything in our power to get every New Yorker into a shelter where they will be warm. Where's the mayor? Clean this up. We got garbage everywhere, dirty snow. What do you do with this? Where's your shovel now, Mamdani?
Does that seem like somebody who gives a damn? Not at all. That does not seem like anybody who gives a damn about his constituents. Not at all. That is straight up, as our sister just put it, straight up devilish. Straight up devilish. A B1 salute to Stormy Weather. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, as well as Ach in the building, my good brother. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as our brother Hebrew Native in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. He's a snake. You can clearly see it. You can clearly see it. And to defend his weather response, he's an even bigger piece of shit. After 16 people that been unalived in the dang his non-responsive tactics. Shout out to our sister C. Terry in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, my warrior sister. Let's go here.
The brutal nature of this code made you rethink what involuntary removals are. I've long said that it should be a last resort. It's still a tool that is used by the city. We have thus far involuntarily transported 18 New Yorkers, city workers across agency and department who have been doing this kind of outreach. What they've been able to do is get more than 980 placements into safe haven sites and shelters since January 19th. That's been critical in protecting people.
Like in good weather, it's one thing if someone says, I'm fine on this park bench, I'm fine on this sidewalk. It's been so cold. Has it made you rethink leaving someone the dignity to decide for themselves? If it's as cold as it's supposed to be this coming weekend, would you be more aggressive about involuntary removal?
I think it's incredibly cold outside. These conditions are the likes of which the city has not seen for many, many years. This has already been one of the coldest stretches in New York City history. And I also rely on a clinician's determination on whether or not they deem someone to be a threat to themselves or to others. If they do, then those are New Yorkers that are brought inside regardless of their own volition.
You haven't advised people, err on the side of caution this time.
This is the exact same policy that even the prior administration had in place as it pertained to involuntary confinement. We're continuing that policy of relying on a clinician's determination.
Family, this is a fantastic comment, family. I bet Fifth Ave, Times Square, Wall Street have no snow on the sidewalks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that too. I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar. I am willing to bet my bottom dollar. And so, family, these people, let me go here, because now he wants you to believe. Let me go here, that he still has clout, because you know what he's doing. Even though everybody's displeased with what's been going on in New York since he's taken office, fair enough, he ain't been there that long, but at the same time, he's been there long enough to get some shovels onto the snow out there. He's been there long enough in order to have a proper response to the homeless situation. He should be able to take care of these things, but it don't sound like or seem like he is. But he wants you to believe that he can get somebody else elected. So now he's out here begging for more money to get someone else elected that claims to be a democratic socialist. Shout out to our good sister Mia Kim in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. They don't. I was just in Times Square on Friday. They cleaned the snow. Okay, so yeah, you see where his attention is going. You see where he's putting his attention. But let's go here. Like I said, he wants to take your money to help get another quote unquote democratic socialist elected. Let's go here.
Friends, I'm once again asking for your donations.
Oh, this is not real, right? Not for me. For Claire Valdez. Who the fuck is that bitch?
Claire is an assembly member, a Democratic Socialist.
A Democratic Socialist? Like they literally pulled that shit out their ass and y'all voted for it.
Union organizer running for Congress in New York Senate.
That's Greenpoint, Williamsburg, Bushwick, Bridgewood, Massachusetts, Cypress Hills, East New York. A little bit of Fort Greene, a little bit of Bed-Stuy.
So everybody knows the areas in which to vote for the other motherfucker?
You just said Bridgewood, what?
Yeah, baby.
Wait, so I have a cue for you. What are you running on?
Unions for all, housing for all, Medicare for all.
Okay, so if y'all fall for this shit, like, there's just no fucking helping y'all at this point. Okay?
I thought DC was only doing for some right now.
Nah, we're gonna do it all.
You're gonna take care of it all.
We can't do it without you.
That's right.
Sorry, you're gonna take care of it all.
So I'm asking you to donate whatever you can to Claire.
And then Claire is gonna give it all to him. Man, I'm sorry, New York. I am so sorry for all you folks that are not voting for this.
Shout out to Brenda Thomas in the building. Much love to you. And shout out to William once again. He said, Kid Gravity tried to warn his fellow New Yorkers. Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. And an unfortunate part is a lot of them already knew. They already knew in their heart of hearts, but they went along with the chicanery anyway because they were voting blue no matter who. It's very important, like I said, family, that we punish these people so that we don't come out with the same buyer's remorse as the people in New York who voted for Mindani. It is very important. And like I said, with all the disrespect that these people have been doing, with all the fear tactering and the fear mongering, all of the erasure that these people have been pushing, yeah, they deserve never to see the House again. They deserve never to see the Senate again. They deserve never to see the presidency again until they do right by us. Everything they do needs to fail. So, family, as I entitled this broadcast, it is time, once again, to punish them and make sure that they understand that that 2024 election wasn't just a one-off. That 2024 election wasn't just a situation to where, we just couldn't make up our minds. No, we made up our minds to sit it out. We made up our minds to sit at home because of this very kind of nonsense and chicanery. We made a personal decision that became a grassroots decision because we all started standing by the code. We all started putting the code on our back as a cape. And if it ain't about the code, we ain't out here trying to save nothing. We're not going back to the status quo. We're not going back to business as usual. As a matter of fact, we're getting more people on board who used to be stone cold Democrats. We're getting more people on board who used to be a part of the older community rather than the elder community. We're getting more people on board who are starting to see that, God dang it, the only people that's speaking up for our community is us. So it's time, once again, family. It's time to make our power, well, it's already known, but it's time to exhibit that power once again and slap these bitches in the face for everything they done and said since Kamala and Joe Biden left office. And yes, I called them bitches because that's what they are. Straight up, run-of-the-mill, backdoor bitches. But with that being said, family, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations, as well as hitting the link in the description, joining the Telegram group to help circumvent the shadow banning that PukeTube has been doing with the new black media. Let me go ahead and hit this up. Shout out to JMV Entertainment for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. Good brother, good sister. Foundational Black Americans are the prophets of the world. No one listens until it happens and then wants us to help. Nah, no more. And I agree with that 100% fold. We are not the same people that they used to be able to coerce into doing things for. We are not the same people that you were able to emotionally manipulate in order to get what you needed from us to go and do for everyone else. We are not those people. And all those people who are still doing those things is becoming less and less because we're out here making the world know. We're putting the world on notice that FBA, we ain't going nowhere. Foundational Black Americans built this country from the ground up, and we maintain this country from the ground up. And the second you think that you're going to try and play us in order to help somebody else overtake whatever the hell we did and built in this country, the second you believe that that is going to be your route, guess what? That route will lead straight into a goddamn brick wall. This is the new normal. Get used to it, because we are not going backwards. We're not walking back in time. We're walking forward, and our future is bright as ever. Because my folks, we all learned one thing. If we ain't learned nothing else, ain't nobody gonna fight for us but us. But with that being said, family, I'd like to thank each and every one of you, my mods, my members, everybody that donated, whether by Super Chat, Cash App, PayPal, or any other apparatus. I'd like to thank my Patreons and everybody who's going to catch this on the replay, gang, family. I want you to have a beautiful rest of your hump day. And in the words of our good brother Kid Gravity, go out and hump something. And have a beautiful rest of your night, family. With that being said, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever, can't stand us black people. He's doing everything in the world to make black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Us black people going to survive. So fuck everybody. I'm out.